The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, December 13th, 2021. Week 14, NFL Sunday was awesome. Can't thank you enough for joining us on this beautiful Overreaction Monday. We have overreactions from all over the internet, and we can't wait to read those to you. We have Darius Butler joining us next hour. AJ Hawk will be here. The Toxic Table at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt are here looking absolutely fantastic, boys.
Good to see you back. Good to see you.
Boys look a little richer, all right? Seems like the bag is already emulating through your lives. At Tone Diggs, the Hammer, Dahn Cowboy is here. How was your weekend, fella?
Great weekend. How was your weekend?
Well, I won 10-2. The Super Boost hit, got broken off, and things are fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, the Chiefs flipped the switch against the Raiders. Now, we don't know what the Raiders are. The Raiders thought they were something, obviously, whenever the Raiders decided to go stand on the Chiefs logo. And this happened last year between the Titans and the Ravens, when the Titans went on to the Ravens logo, and then Harbaugh said to Vrabel, "That's not football." And Vrabel said, "Why don't you go fucking coach?" All right, why don't you go coach and get out of here? Now the Raiders go dancing on the Chiefs logo and wake up a sleeping giant. The offense had everybody on its score except for the people that we all betted on anytime touchdown scorers. What an incredible display by the Kansas City Chiefs. Will this be the Chiefs going forward, or was that of the Raiders that showed up yesterday? Now, I'm not saying the Raiders are a bad team, but yesterday they obviously looked terrible. And then on the way out, the Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium plays "The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round." Because, remember, John Gruden got a win over the Chiefs in Kansas City and forced the bus driver to go ahead and take an extra lap around, a victory lap around the stadium. I love when petty shit happens. I love when the Chiefs answer and show up. They did just that. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, down in the humidity, 85% humidity. Woo! That's hot. Scorcher. Yeah. Especially if you're not training in that type of humidity, could be tough. That's why I picked the Bucs over the Bills, but it turned out Josh Allen put the team on his back, though. And as the game got later, it looked like the Bills got better. Or was it the Bucs falling apart? Couple game management situations that kind of poked their head in there for the Bucs that made me raise my eyebrow a little bit, as if I was Dewey Johnson. Young Rock coming back on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Nice. Yeah. Can't wait. I actually am excited for this one.
Boom.
Sure.
Boom. Me too. Season 2. It's only going to get better for the Rock. But there was a timeout on third down at the end of the half whenever the other team had no timeouts and they were driving, and you call a timeout before third down. And obviously, they don't pick up the first down. They have to punt the ball back to the Bills. The Bills now have more time because you called it. Then at the end of the game, they called a timeout so their defense could get, a quick breath or a quick puff, while the Bills had no timeout and they were trying to run 2 minutes. They were being very successful. There was just a couple decisions that were made that made us all, including Tom Brady, go, "What the fuck are we doing right now?" But that thing gets to overtime. Tom Brady goes ahead and buries the Bills into, a place where I don't think I'm losing faith in them. But if Josh Allen's boot that he's walking out is bad, you have to question what the fuck they're going to do. Did not hand the ball off one time in the first half yesterday. First team to do such a thing in like 30 years or something like that in the NFL. This Buffalo Bills team is electrifying. Josh Allen's an absolute stud. How bad is this injury that's giving him this boot right here? And can they win against a tough team late in the playoffs is all anybody's going to ask. It's not fair that the conversation isn't about, hey, go for the Bills getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Good for the Bills being a team that they weren't just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. They're now expected to win and make it to the playoffs. Now the big question is, do we think this team will be able to win when they have to late? None of us are sure, and yesterday was indicative of that, I think, with the Buccaneers getting another win. Shout out to the Super Boost now 2 for 2, and then last night, you got the landlord, Aaron Rodgers, at home against a rival that he has talked up. He said, hey, not all rivalries are worthy of a conversation, but this one in the NFL between the Packers and the Bears is a storied rivalry. It goes back a long way. The OG Steve Sable, founder of NFL Films, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Steve Sable. He was even talking about these games way back in the frozen tundra. You're talking about the history of the NFL with the Packers and the Bears, and this is one that Aaron Rodgers has told Justin Fields, like, hey, hold this thing, a little bit higher than every other game. This deserves it. The fans want it. The fans deserve it. Go ahead and do it. And I thought Justin Fields once again showed glimpses of greatness that makes me think that the future of the Bears is very, very bright with him at the helm. But who will be the head coach who's having so much fun? He's having so much fun. Hey, halftime report. Let's go down to the field. All right. Talked to head coach Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears, asked him how he plans on to continue to do what he did in the first half, in the second half against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. He has a lead in Lambeau against a red-hot NFC North, leading Green Bay Packers. What do you plan on doing in the second half? Any cliche things you can tell me to say during my report? Like, hey, we got to run the ball better.
Okay.
Anything. And Nagy says, no, I'm just having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. This is a blast, man. And then coming out of the half, obviously the report comes. Mm-hmm. He's having so much fun. Aaron Rodgers scores a touchdown. Right. Strip sack, another touchdown. Now there's no more fun. Now the joy has been sucked out of Matt Nagy's soul. But what is happening for them in the future? There's no way he and Pace are going to be there. I think everybody's understanding that. I'm not 100% sure if that's been decided within the building, but it feels like all of Chicago is ready to make that decision, even though they thought the refs fucked them.
Fucked them.
That's Zito.
Yeah.
That's Zito, Late, I didn't see the onside kick. I had fallen asleep until this morning, and Zito's like, I got fucked on the onside kick. What do you mean? Well, we ran in for a touchdown. I'm like, what? Can't do that.
That's just dumb rule.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Rule.
That is not well, how about on the punt? They did the same exact thing as us, and we got fucked for it. It would have been a turnover, would have been holding. It's like, well, clearly broke the rules. The other team didn't. They ran down the sideline. I'm like,
it was a Mickey Mouse call, and you know it.
It was a little ticky-tack. I think it was bullshit. You guys did kind of get fucked on that one punt call, but all the stories are different. But I feel like this week, the refs weren't as big of a conversation as every other week. Now, there was a couple games. The Bills fans feel like they got fucked on the Diggs pass interference, which is worthy of a conversation, I guess. The Bears fans think they got fucked, which they might have, by the way. I didn't see it all in context and everything like that. I think the Packers would have beat you regardless. But I think the reason why we don't have the ref conversation happening right now is because there were so many blowouts, it felt like.
Yeah.
Hey, that 1 o'clock slate got ugly quick in a lot of places. Let's dive into it a little bit. Please bring the sidebar in. Professional show that just got paid. Damn. All right, let's go to that Packers game. Ty Schmidt. Aaron Rodgers, 4 tuds, 0 interceptions. He has the most against any team in the history of the NFL. It is against the Chicago Bears. He proclaims his landlordness once again on Sunday Night Football. And Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels, a lot of conversation about Aaron Rodgers. Your thought of the coverage of the game and how the game went versus your expectations going in?
In terms of the game, obviously, like early, we talked about it on Friday. I was kind of just like looking past this game because the Bears do stink, but they came out, punched the Packers in the mouth, and it was but like you said, it's fucking Rodgers owns the Bears. Rents do every time they play. And once the offense started kind of getting things going, you knew that the defense was going to step up eventually because Fields is good, but he will throw a pick or, they have a young offensive line. It was kind of just waiting for the avalanche to continue. And a lot of time, like Rodgers in his career has covered up for a really bad defense at times and a fucking terrible special teams. We talk about it every single week. I don't know what else you can say.
That was bad.
And I'm curious to know, this is just what they are. I don't think they're getting any better. It looks like they don't practice anything special teams related at all during the week. Muff punts, stepping out of bounds at the 5-yard line. The coverage is terrible on kickoff return and punt. I
tweeted, what was that, first quarter? I tweeted, hey, Todd.
Tighten up
A little bit. I was watching some coverage stuff where I was like, oh, there's people stacking each other. There is, I was just watching some things of if I was to, potentially be on that team or a fan of that team, what I would be looking at on the special team side. And there was a couple things earlier where I was like, well, there's some problematic shit going on, not just in the obvious not being able to catch it clean or anything, decisions being made, but in the in the coverage lane shit that I was watching on the TV, I was like, that's not good. And normally, Bojo can make up for that, he'll get a fair catch or whatever. But whenever you start getting late, especially in Lambeau, it's going to be hard, I think, to hit clean balls high enough for everybody to get a fair catch. It was his decision to catch that thing at the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm the punter and I punt that and I see somebody catch it at the 4-yard line. Then I see him running flat. I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. We just got this guy caught the ball at the fucking 4.
Yeah.
That was probably going to be a touchback. That's coming back to the 20. Now we're probably getting him at the 3 or whatever. And then you just saw in I guess you saw the outcome of it. We didn't get to see it live. You have to look at the old 22. There was guys just running right behind each other. So as soon as you see guys running right behind each other, which would make sense as soon as somebody's going flat like that, even though you have to spread the net out still. As soon as you see people doing that, the other team is just like, oh, thank you. You're actually doing our job for us. And that wall was just beautifully set. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. And the fact that he was able to do that, then get all the way back around, incredible athleticism, incredible speed. And also, what the fuck are we doing on the coverage team? There has to be at least a conversation we had with somebody like, are we joking down there? And then that's just the beginning of the whole thing. The ticky-tack call where the guy ran out of bounds on his own.
Yeah.
The Bears,
punt, the muff punt.
The muff punt where the guy ran out of bounds on his. That is an actual penalty. That is an actual strategy that is used, by the way, by the, depending upon what they're called in each individual team, but the corners that are blocking the gunner. There is guys that will set guys up to make it feel as if they're about to touch them. And then as they run out of bounds, they lift their hands. That is a penalty because you can't run out of bounds all by yourself. Because if you could, everybody would just do that. So there's been so many tedious rules put into place because of the fuckery that has taken place while covering punts whenever you're talking about guys running 4-4, 4-3, all of them. So just a little bit of an advantage, especially going against a double team. How can one person do it? So they took away the ability to run out of bounds without being touched. You have to be forced out of bounds. But once you're forced out of bounds, you have to make an effort to get back in immediate fashion. So for when the Packers player got bodied out of bounds, he actually got pushed out of bounds. He was behind a line of Chicago Bears players. So I think the refs looked at that and was like, he had no chance. And then he got hit by somebody, I think, on the sideline. Zito was bitching about this because of what happened with the Packers. It was like, I think that guy got blocked by literally 55 Chicago Bears people. You should have been happy about the outcome, but that was a ticky-tack go out of bounds without being touched to overturn a muff late in the game, and I think it was an 11-point game at that point. That's a big-time deal.
Yeah, and like that's what I don't understand is that guy Amari Rodgers, like he's a rookie and he's very explosive. He's a good athlete, but I feel like it's like what you used to say when the Colts drafted Philip Dorsett. It was like they just assume he's a great athlete, like, hey, let's put him back there. And
did he return punts?
I don't know.
College?
I don't know if he did at Clemson, but like it's obviously much different at Lambeau when you have those swirling winds and the punters are kicking it fucking much higher and like
trying to get you.
And it's not like they're just like it's been like this all year. Like he's muffed several punts, like or like decisions where like he'll catch one at like the 4 and get tackled right away. Like it just and Cobb's hurt, so maybe that has something to do with it. But like you look at. I mean, in the playoffs, that shit happens. Like they're gonna lose a game.
Special teams will lose a game for you. Yeah. Especially because it doesn't show up until it shows up.
That's right.
He had 68 punts returns in college.
Okay, so you return a lot of punts. Once again, though, very different punting styles between college and the NFL. Matt Hawk, he hit like a 65-yard bomb last night, I think, out there that was for the. Whatever. There's some good punting last night. Two successful onside kicks yesterday, too. Yeah, anytime you get a ball to beat them up. You know what I mean? That is quite a good feeling. But luckily, a guy ran out of bounds without being touched, even though it was ticky-tack. That is an actual rule. Let's get back to the sidebar. Let's roll through that thing. Congrats to the Packers coming out of a bye week.
Rasul Douglas, obviously.
What a player.
Yeah.
What an absolute stud. Good trade there, Goot.
Yeah.
That boy, Goot the Coons.
Great pickup.
Great pickup. Goot the Coons was scanning the waiver wire. Let me see some practice squad guys. Couldn't get Stephon Gilmore. We need a corner, though. Stat. How about this guy down there in Arizona? Just got there a few weeks ago. Bring him up here. Boom. Superstar.
Yeah. Our defensive player of the year, arguably.
And then old Preston. Big time tackle last night. Strip sack.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yep.
Oh, we have to talk about Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a grown fucking man out there. He has 75 tackles or something like that. He is now in the defensive player of the year, not just rookie of the year, player of the year conversation. And I feel like while Mike McCarthy was speaking to the media, he actually had, what's that?
Mike was on.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I feel like when I thought he said Andy had COVID or something. Like, oh my! Wait, hold on. We got a whole different conversation that's about to happen. I apologize, there, Zito. But I feel like when Mike McCarthy was speaking to the media last week, and he said, "Yeah, we're gonna go there, and we're gonna win. We're one goddamn game down there." You know, and Yins can guarantee it. Right, whatever you want to do, we work hard. We're playing against a good team. You do whatever you got to do. That whole thing. In the back of his mind, he was thinking, "I got Micah Parsons on my team. They do not." Okay, I got Micah Parsons, this dude who has just transitioned into a pass rusher in the middle of his NFL career and said, yep, I'm going to go ahead and take it over and become the best at it. Then he'll drop back into coverage just like he was early in the season there the first couple weeks and do his thing. It feels like he, if you watch the Hard Knocks, loves being a Cowboy, wanted to be a Cowboy his entire life. Now he's in a position of actual game wrecking, which every single play, he's going to make a play. And somehow he is more explosive than everybody else. By the time the ball was brought back, and normally it's like, oh, the ball is going forward. He had his face pinned on the guy's arm with the ball out. How you doing? Keep it moving, Heineke. Get off the field. They're actually going to bring in Kyle Allen now. I mean, he is a game wrecker, game changer. And if that offense, okay, can get going, I feel like Micah can keep you in any single game that you need to be in. What an absolute stud, and what a joy to get a chance to watch this guy for the next 15 fucking years probably. Yeah. And he has no clue what he's doing yet. Wait until he starts understanding like shifts and realignments, and he might already. He might be. I'm not 100% sure. He might be a phenom pass rusher physically and mentally. But as he continues to grow older, it's only going to get better. I mean, this dude's a fucking guy.
Well, the best part is, like, for him, they could do so many things with him. Like, he was a middle linebacker in college. That's what they drafted him as. And then DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory, who are two of the top 15 pass rushers in the NFL, they go out with injuries or whatever. So now you move him to the outside, and he's got 12 sacks. Like, he can do so many things for that defense that he's only going to get better.
And his pass rushing moves, they're not like perfected.
No.
Like these things aren't. I got very lucky to watch Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney, okay? Not only just in games, but in practice, in training camp, and one-on-ones against poor fucking offensive linemen.
Man, what a bummer.
I mean, great offensive linemen too, really good. But in 120-degree weather with 400% humidity, they were forced to go one-on-one on an island with Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. And I got the chance to see it up close and personal about some of the shit. The amount of detail that goes into some of those moves. In the chess game that's being played, if you listen to Dwight or Robert speak about how, I'm showing this move early and often, so boom, I can hit him with this whenever it matters on a 3rd and long, or understanding the self-scout of what move you've done on any big-time game-winning type plays, because the tackles are watching this film too. I mean, there's just like levels to the amount of thinking and strategery that you can have in there, and he is just going to be a guy. It is awesome to see a human that has the same type of, I guess, body construction that we have.
Sure.
Yep.
I guess.
Brains and hands and feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Supposed to be in the same tree. Like Brock Lesnar walks by, and I actually said this, he is a human just like us, allegedly, Yeah. But him walking by, it's great. Micah Parsons, getting a chance to watch him fully, it's going to be so much fun. And congrats to the Cowboys. Washington football team obviously has a lot that they have, to chat about in a positive manner when it comes to the football team being able to win whenever nobody really could have ever expected them to do so with everything falling off. But the scissors just sitting there at the 22-yard line.
What are we doing?
It's an epidemic at this point.
It is. Well, it could be. Potentially if those scissors got anything on them. Imagine if a guy, they got poop water still busting through pipes twice at FedEx Field.
That's right.
No heated benches, right? This was a conversation as soon as those pictures of the Cowboys benches showed up on the internet at FedEx Field. Everybody, look at the Cowboys like dancing on the Washington football team or whatever. I thought it was very obvious, like, okay, so the Washington football team doesn't have the newest or latest or greatest heated benches, because there's been some places we've gone to and you played at where their benches, the away benches are trash. Like, hey, these are not good at all. So the fact that the Cowboys brought theirs and it had their big-ass logo on it, and allegedly it came from Ohio, some company, Cleveland, Ohio, sent them over, is hilarious, because I think this has been done in the past without the big branding on it, you know?
Yeah.
Just a regular bench.
But that's because Seattle said, hey, they ain't got no goddamn heat in that. We don't have any electricity either. You're going to have to do a lot of hand
Do the
signals.
Cowboys do this a lot, or other teams do this?
Well, it depends on the stadium. So that is literally a shot at the operation.
Right.
That's what that is. Everybody thought that was them like dunking on the Washington football team. I don't think that's them doing that as much as it is like our guys are going to have heated benches.
This is the fucking NFL.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm Jerry Jones. I just built a $7 billion thing. Our guys are going to have the nicest of benches. I'm paying guys hundreds of millions of dollars to play football. There's no reason for them to sit on some lawn chair shit that the Washington football team has.
Right.
Okay, so I think it was a shot at the Washington football team more so than a dunking on it. But if you gotta love an owner that says, no, we send it.
Yeah, unbelievable. You think Jason Wright found out about this and was like, fuck, all right, add it to the list. Heated benches, we need to do that too.
We need to use a little bit of the, what's that stuff? I seen it on QVC, the glass boat. They use it to
Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
Phil Swift.
Jason Wright is going to be Flex Sealing all of those pipes by the end of this.
Have to.
He should.
He is a. I don't know. I assume he's got a great team. He has talked about, hey, we brought in a lot of great people or whatever. Poop's still coming down through the pipes.
Yeah, I mean, we're all worried about COVID. People start showing up with tetanus there because they've been getting soaked in poop water. Like, that's not
can't happen.
something you want either. Yeah.
What happens if Heineke, those scissors stab him in the leg? All of a sudden, you got to go with Kyle Allen for the next 8 games.
Well, that's Fitz is still there, and his season's over. Heineke, a lot of people are asking a lot of questions like, should Heineke have just been given this gig after the playoff game that he had against Tampa Bay when we all learned of his existence out of Old Dominion? And I think a lot of us were like, well, you're bringing in the older version of Heineke. You're bringing in Fitz, kind of show him the way. Fitz then goes down a speed slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending upon.
Oh, no. Front here.
Just a-
St.
That's what I'm
Patty's
saying.
Day.
This is because AJ.
Yeah, he's a clown.
That's how fast Fitz went down that slide, though.
Hey, he was fast. He was one of those ones that went like this.
Yeah.
Allegedly in sports talk.
Right. Guy said he loves speed. So.
Got a need for speed. Let's bounce around a little bit more. Browns get a big-time win over their division rival, the team that was once the Cleveland Browns, then packed up and went to Baltimore to become the Ravens, travel into Cleveland. And the Browns have an incredible start. Oh, this team's dancing. Myles Garrett's got strip sacks and making people hurt. They're scooping scores and picks and sixes, and Jarvis Landry scoring for the first time in a long time. There's a lot of celebrating in Dog Pound. The dogs were barking, having a blast. And then after Lamar Jackson, this is a contract year for Lamar. We got to remember that. I feel so terrible for anybody that's on their big money year getting hurt. I didn't see exactly what I guess it was a tackle. I didn't have the sound on it. The tackle, they say he had turf toe or sprained
It was
ankle.
weird because it didn't look bad.
Didn't look bad at all, especially for Lamar Jackson, who I don't want to say gets hit a lot because he finds ways not to, but he goes down a lot. Like Lamar Jackson's on the ground a lot. I didn't think it looked that bad. Once I saw him on the card, it's like, oh no, I'm incredibly bummed for Lamar Jackson. Huntley gets in there though. They start turning around.
Yeah, ball player.
They start playing some football. Patrick Queen said these Cleveland Browns fans are throwing food all over us.
no.
Is it nachos? Or hot dogs? Or pizza?
Not
They're
Browns
not
fans.
throwing the bratwursts. Those are like $45 a pound. And
They might have thought they were hungry.
well, yeah, maybe they're trying to take care of the Ravens. Maybe they just don't know how to potentially win in a good way, and that's what the Ravens fans are trying to say, or Ravens players are saying. Let's remember they're throwing food on us. Whatever the case, the dog pound was pumped. Ravens sneak in for a backdoor cover at the end.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit.
Yep.
I would have been 11-1.
Oh, man.
I'd have been 11-1.
Come on.
I saw Justin Tucker line up for that extra point. I was like, I love you, Justin, but I mean, a pretty good record online. He put that thing right through. Obviously, that's what Justin Tucker does. And Harbaugh spoke a little bit more about what's going on in that facility and afterwards. But, I mean, what is going on? The Ravens, I feel so bad. They've had so many injuries.
Yeah.
They're on running back 4 and 5 right now. I think people forget that. They've had so many injuries, but they're still expected to be so good because they have Lamar Jackson who can make a play out of nowhere. And if you watch that team over the last few weeks, Lamar, I don't think has been the same Lamar. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know if he'd been dealing with some lingering injuries because it is the NFL and we don't hear about it. Maybe didn't have as much juice for whatever reason for a little bit. But his explosion, although more than everybody else on the field, hasn't been the same, it feels like, this year as opposed to years past. Now he gets hurt. I'm fucking bummed for that dude. I'm very bummed for Lamar Jackson.
My takeaway from that game yesterday and the day in general is that the kitchen in the AFC North, it's fucking lukewarm at best.
Well, put on the thing. You guys actually have the least amount of wins to lead the AFC right now. So the AFC North is becoming quite a conversation piece. And if you look around the NFL rankings here, AFC and NFC, the AFC North 8-5 is leading the AFC North. Mm-hmm. The Titans have 9 wins in the AFC South. Chiefs have 9 wins in the AFC West. There's 9 wins in the AFC East. So it is the most tight division over here in the AFC North. But who's going to show up the rest of the way? None of us. Bengals, fucking Joey Burrow answered with Jamar Chase yesterday, and I thought Jamar made a catch that he did not make, I guess, because the ball hit the ground. But nonetheless, still an absolute stud. And Joey had to answer. The Niners get a big-time win, and George Kittle is a freak show, dude. George Kittle is a fucking freak show. But who's going to show up, you think, here for the rest of the season? I don't think any of us know. There's a lot of decisions to be made at the top, too. Like, what's the future of the Baltimore Ravens look like? They went all in with Lamar Jackson a few years ago. Now he's up for a contract. Everybody says they're going to pay him. I hope they pay him. But who knows the severity of this injury, and who knows what happens with them the rest of the way? Browns, they got Baker Mayfield, and allegedly the internal voices that he referenced in his interview with Kurt Warner, which I actually watched live, because I watched the NFL Network kickoff show. It starts earlier than everybody else. And then ESPN and Fox start up, and I'll bounce around. And I hope that NFL Network pregame show doesn't lose any juice. Hey,
keep it going.
They got to record that so early LA time. I don't know how they do it, actually. As I was laying in my bed, incredibly tired, I was thinking, like, it's like 6 a.m.
These guys have been up for 4 hours already.
Guys, I appreciate it. But I was listening to that Kurt Warner and Baker Mayfield interview, and he was talking about how the noise outside normally, this year it's been a lot of internal voices or whatever. And then that led to a lot of people questioning, well, what did he mean by that? I thought it was self-doubt happening with the injuries, and maybe external voices were lingering into his brain, and maybe there was some internal doubt that was happening, which is impossible to deal with in the middle of a season, especially at a position which revolves around confidence like the quarterback position does. He talked about his legs getting a little bit more healthy so he could throw a little bit better, but the internal voices thing, a lot of people brought up, or the internal communication, a lot of people dove into. I guess like the Browns and Baker are not on the same page. I guess Stefanski and he are not as tight as they once were. I guess the way the Browns have been talking about the injuries, not the same way that Baker either wants to or has been talking about the injuries. This is all coming from anonymous sources. This is the day after a win against the fucking Ravens, and this is what people are talking about, which is very sad for the Browns. But the future of the Browns, I have no idea what that looks like either. The AFC North, with Ben Roethlisberger on his way out, Joey Burrow seems to be the only thing that we know is going to be there for the long haul, and then we hope Lamar Jackson as well.
And I was just looking. The Bengals have the 3rd best odds to win that division at plus 230. I think they're going to win the division here at this point. I think because Ravens, who the fuck knows what they are? The Browns are the Browns. The Steelers stink. I think the Bengals have the most talent. And
Jesus,
Tony.
What's going on?
What's going on? Why do you think the Steelers? Is there self-handicapping?
fucking look at the record, dude.
It's all right. It's all right. They'll be back, though.
Yeah,
it's
it
a Mike
could be.
They
Tomlin.
could still make the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised.
What, they get blown out in the first round?
Hold on. Let's look at the playoff look right now. I mean, it is the Colts had a bye, got into the playoffs. I mean, what a perfect weekend for Indianapolis. Yeah. Obviously, Patriots are division leaders, 9-4 in the AFC. Then the Titans, who absolutely dog walked the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oof. Okay? That Titans team, coached by Vrabes, who was an Ohio State Buckeye legend, who coached on the same coaching staff, or Urban Meyer's coaching staff at Ohio State. Vrabes, walking, talking, football, Ohioan icon, beats the happiness and soul out of Urban Meyer so bad that afterwards, Urban Meyer can't even look the guy in the eye.
Nope.
Yeah. How embarrassing. Now, there's a lot of reports and leaks coming out that, last week or the week before, or maybe this has happened on numerous occasions, that Urban Meyer's looked around at every assistant coach that he had to hire, that he chose to hire, that he brought in and said, hey, we're going to turn this thing around. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to run this. Looked around, allegedly. This is all allegedly. We don't know what's real or what's not real. And he goes, hey, Coach Boston Connor over there at the linebackers.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever won a championship?
No, Coach, I haven't.
Why don't you fucking tell all of us why you're a fucking loser?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that happened. I went to the game. I thought I was going to be
See, a bunch of excuses. That's what losers do. What if that's what Urban Meyer did? And he goes, Coach Ty Schmidt over there at the safeties. I see you giggling away here at Coach Connor. Have you ever won a championship?
No, I have not.
Tell everybody why you're a fucking loser, too.
Well, our players aren't great. I mean,
See, look, that's what losing coaches and cultures do. They blame you guys, the players. I would never do that. I've won a bunch of championships. These guys all stink. Okay, I don't. They say, if that's what happened, which, once again, we do not know if that happened. Anonymous sources are always something, I guess, that are important to actual journalism. I've been told, because I've gone on this rant before, where anonymous sources shouldn't be allowed to be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Then the political world, which I know nothing about, comes in and goes, do you know that the anonymity of the source actually potentially saves lives and makes the world a better place? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in a tank top and I talk about sports. I was not talking about your world. In the sports world, anonymous sources, I just don't think should be a thing. But you hear journalists, they need them. They cover things that we don't, get privy information. I see that it has a whole thing. But if you say something, I think you should at least want to have your name alongside of it. Although I do get that anonymous sources have changed the world for the better in a lot of situations, including sports and everything like that. Not my thing, though. I was actually asked by a couple people to take polls while I was in a locker room, and it'd be an anonymous poll. And I said, no, I'd like my name to be on everything that I say, actually. Can you actually put my votes out publicly? But there's a lot of people that are in that. So we don't know if this is real or not, but goddamn, it seems dead in Jacksonville already. And if he's trying to get fired, would he be the one that's leaking this information? And then whatever he says, if there is a leak, fired fucking immediately. Is he talking about himself? It's just a dumpster fire down there, and the Titans covered and did exactly what we hoped they would do, and they did do. The Jacksonville Duval Jaguars are dead. And I think that is something that is a shame. But we should at least have a moment of silence, I guess, for the Urban Meyer-led Jacksonville Jaguar squad. He chose one time not to fly back home with the team after a loss. Said, I got to see the grand babies. That's right. The only babies he saw were those young ladies at the shop house that week.
Couple fingers.
Devil.
He had to answer a lot of questions about that, but then he got back on track and started coaching football.
Oh, yeah.
Forget about the fingers.
And they won. They won a game in London. How'd they win? It's because they forgot about the fingers.
That's right.
And then they came back to America. And they lose. And they lose. And they lose. And they lose. And anonymous sources say, this guy fucking stinks. He's laughed out of meeting rooms. Everybody wants to smack him in the mouth.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
Have a little mirror therapy, pal.
A little bit.
You stink.
You guys ever get yourself one of these? I didn't think so, you losers.
Hey, this one from high school, this one from college, and this one right here, middle fingers open for the NFL. If any of you would stop fucking me over.
Goddamn right.
That's what we're trying to get. Hey, you, defensive coordinator.
What's that?
You got any of these?
No, I don't. I don't, Coach.
So I thought you're a fucking loser.
I'm sorry, Coach.
You need to stop by the chop. Anyways, they're dead.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about maybe firing Urban Meyer right now. And Peter King, who is an Ohioan, we learned.
Yep.
Went to the University of Ohio.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, he did send a very nice text. Thank you, Peter King. With that being said, Peter King, noted Urban Meyer fan, it sounds like, from reading his thing.
Yeah.
Talking about how all of Urban's friends need to let him know, hey, you're in a rebuild, dude. Your team stinks. The sun did come up, do some yoga. I don't know how many people are letting Urban Meyer know that everything's going to be okay, because publicly it sounds like everybody's letting everybody else know that they're in Urban Meyer's world and it's not okay. So I don't know how it plays out, but congrats to the Titans, get a big-time win.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's trying to convince us that everything's, all rosy down there, but it's very obvious everyone in that building thinks he's an egotistical prick and they hate his guts.
Yeah.
Like, you could just tell.
So this is a real thing. Whenever you come in and take over a program,
Sure.
okay, and you have people do push-ups or run laps, in public, and you have all this shit go on, and then you're potentially not living by the mantra that you were telling everybody else to live by, and everything is good if you win. Adults will buy in. Grown people will buy in. I think this is even at I've never been, so I apologize for maybe the ignorance here, but if you go to a company that succeeds and does well, when they tell you to do stupid shit, you'll do it because you know that you're going to get paid and the company's going to do well and you'll keep moving. If it's from a company that you feel like is going to go out of business, whenever they're telling you to do certain things, natural doubt is going to creep in and go, nah, I ain't fucking doing it. That's why this thing stinks, right? I think that happens.
Yeah.
In the NFL, that happens. If you're a coach and you come into a new program and you try to set the culture in the way that you want it to be, and you're a hard ass and everything like that, people will buy in. But if you're not winning, it's going to be hard to keep people to do that. So unless Urban Meyer's going to turn over everybody again and try to get a whole new wave of hey, that we could still do this whole thing if we do this in my particular vision. Because now it sounds like the coaches are turning on him, because the coach would have to be the one that would leak that probably.
Yeah.
Unless it was a player that leaked it because they were so pissed off for a coach, which means the culture maybe isn't as bad in there. If you remove Urban Meyer from it, you keep it going. But you got to win. And if you continue to lose and you embarrass yourself and then these leaks start happening, that's what it is in the men's league of the NFL. That's just how it goes.
That was reported, too, that Marvin Jones actually left the facility because Urban Meyer, reamed out the wide receivers coach, and they basically had to, beg Marvin Jones to come back, and that it was okay.
And then him and Urban had it out on the practice field,
Yeah.
allegedly, right after he did return to practice. And he's a guy who they just gave him a shitload of money in free agency. He's supposed to be one of their veterans, a guy who's there to help turn the culture around.
Survived Detroit.
Yeah, he's a captain, too.
Speaking of Detroit.
Man, oh, man.
They shouldn't even have showed up.
What are you talking? They did.
That game should have been.
They did.
Good news.
Everyone knew we won our Super Bowl last week. They had no chance. The whole team had the flu. Some had COVID. There was a 0% chance they were going to win that game.
Saw a lot of interviews before the game though with Jared Goff, and Jared was saying all the right things.
Yep.
I like making new memories with new people here in Detroit.
Goddamn right.
Hell yeah.
Jared Goff. That's Jared Goff.
JG.
He was asked about the pass. Hey, this is the first win without McVay. Do you think about that? Obviously, it's not something I think about. I think about it right here, right now. The piece they did on the Lions, I actually started to believe a little bit.
Yeah.
I started to believe a little bit. Then I went on my FanDuel account, and I thought about betting on him. I was like, we're going to exit out of this. I ain't going to do that.
No way.
All right, let's get to a break on the other side. There is a lot to chat about, okay? I mean, we just kind of scratched the surface of Big Mike McCarthy saying, I told you is what we're going to do down there.
The prophet.
Why are they throwing the ball? Why did Dak throw that pick six?
Yeah, that was bad.
That was foolish.
4 minutes left, up 14 or something like that, or 11, 12, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Why is he even throwing the ball? And this goes back to when the games matter. And I know week 14, December football absolutely matters, but whenever it's lose and go home, whenever it's lose and everything you did all year does not matter anymore because you're not a Super Bowl champion, whenever it comes down to that point, those types of decisions, those tiny little ones, get magnified. And that could potentially be the only thing you're talking about for the next 5 fucking months. If we didn't do this or this. That's why whenever you look at the top of the AFC and you see Bill Belichick, you automatically assume, okay, when the time comes and it's going into third down, it's 3rd and 5, and there's 20-some seconds left, 27, 30 seconds left, it's before half. We're not going to call a timeout now. We're going to call a timeout if we get a first down, knowing that we don't have to get the ball back. Oh, shit. We call timeout. We don't get the first down. We punt the ball back to Josh Allen. That 30 seconds could be enough for them to get a fucking field goal. That stuff gets magnified. So that is, I think, what we have to continue to separate the good from the great at the top of these divisions. Who do we trust enough not to make the decision that is, eventually pointed to as, oh, that's why this season was a letdown, because of that fucking decision right there. It can happen from a coach. It can happen from a player. Probably happen from a ref. We're back in 4 minutes. Can't wait to talk more about everything that happened on a beautiful Week 14 NFL Sunday, then tonight's game. As the Rams travel to the 4th largest city in America. Let's go. Beautiful. Phoenix, Arizona, and the red-hot Cardinals on Monday Night Football. 2-point favorites at home are the Cardinals. Over under at 51. They're expecting some points. Aaron Donald, who was bullying people just 1 week ago, now gets another shot at Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. It's hard not to just say the Cardinals are going to win this thing. Yeah. We got to wait and hear what A.J. Hawk's doing, though, because he's an absolute legend in the picking of the games thing.
Well, this week, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of
like
second fiddle.
The baton is not in his hands.
He went 9-3, though.
That's pretty good week.
I mean, it's okay.
Pretty good week.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes. Cheers. I hate a lot of people for the way that they acted after that Friday thing. There's no way you're isolated enough that you don't hear any. You had to have heard. There's some massive names, politicians. I mean, your name has been spoke by a lot of people. Are you just, because you're like, hey, love will cure this thing. How are you not going to hold a grudge to everybody? And do you know that you're probably never going to win an MVP again? That's probably never going to happen, right?
I think that's a legitimate statement.
Legit though, like that. There's a lot of people that vote for that I think are not like. How do you isolate that? How do you stay away from that? Because you're talking about everybody on earth talking about you. That's not getting you down at all. I don't know. That's incredible mental toughness if that's the case.
Well, you know what? I think first, if you find your identity in yourself and you don't find your identity in the opinions of others, you don't need that validation and that love from other people. You can get it from yourself, and that's not being selfish. That's just learning how to in a healthy way love yourself and respect yourself, and believe in yourself. And it definitely was tested, by some of the comments that I heard. And so I'm human. I mean, stuff can definitely hurt your feelings, but look, I shared an opinion that is polarizing. I get it. And I misled some people about my status, which I take full responsibility of, those comments. But in the end, I have to stay true to who I am and what I'm about. And I stand behind the things that I said. And I, have a ton of empathy for people who have been going through the worst part of this pandemic, which has affected all of us in different ways. But so many people, like I said, with lives that were lost, lives that were forever changed. And I have a ton of compassion and empathy for those people. And I've tried to help out, as much as I can.
Yeah.
The other stuff is so out of my control. And there's going to be people that don't like you and hate you for things you said, or might not even understand what you said or know what you said. It might just see a headline, and that's fine. I believe that people are entitled to their opinion, and even if it's an opinion that's unfavorable of me. But I'm going to continue to try and be the best version of me moving forward, and I'm excited about getting back on the field as soon as possible.
Hey, do you know if offense or defense is getting introduced this week in your game, and have you thought about it all, like what the reaction may be if offense is introduced and you're the last guy out? Have you thought about that?
I think it is offense, and I'm excited. There's nothing like running out of that tunnel last, especially.
Think it'll be different one way anyway than your normal, how they normally respond?
I don't know. I hope not.
They should show that on the network.
Oh, that clip will make its way.
Oh, yeah.
That clip will make its way around. To walk into Anyhow at the Moon and go, wish you would step from that ledge, my friend.
Jumper.
We could
cut ties with all the lies that we've been living in.
And
if you do not want to see me again, I would understand.
that's what I'm going to do at How at the Moon. Just slide on the knees with the guitar.
How at the Moon is just pianos usually.
No.
You wouldn't get it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on Overreaction Monday, December 13th, 2021. About 16 minutes away from A.J. Hawk making his first appearance on this show, back live from the attic, Sure. Because on Friday he was in this studio, And I ain't doing it anymore. Now that I'm like super wealthy, I'm getting him his own desk right here.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to.
He needs to stop touching my shit.
Well, and we saw he was just kind of slowly inching everything like a half inch up on the desk. It's like,
So
what
they
do
would all
you
fall.
do? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, what are you doing?
Hey, congrats. Everything did. Jesus fucking took a hike this morning, AJ. Hope you're happy about it. Christian Pulisic, guess what he did?
No.
He fell off as well.
Yeah.
Kendall almost fell. Connor caught it like Joe Montana did.
Well, and he tried to set the stack on fire on Friday. We can't forget that either.
This guy.
He's a clown.
It's unbelievable. But I'm very thankful he traveled out here to do the show whenever I was in a 3 to 3.5 star hotel
Oh, yeah.
in
Right.
Los Angeles.
How'd that go?
It was pretty good, you know. I actually thought to myself, as my head was flat on the pillows, 4 of them stacked up, no, none at all, just laying there, couldn't hold the cranium of mine. Everybody on earth is currently talking about how much money I have right now, and I ain't going to sleep for a second with this shitty pillow. And then I realized that it doesn't really matter. Nothing changes.
Nope.
And the fact that we got a chance to, you know, make the decision to do this for the next 3 years, 4 years, I'm very, very grateful for it. I'm very, very excited.
Oh, yeah.
With that being said, I would like to donate some pillows
No more Best Westerns.
to every hotel I'm staying at going forward. There's a couple things we did not chat about in the first 40 minutes, so we have to hit. Justin Herbert's balling, dude.
Oh, yeah. Man.
He made some passes yesterday that he threw that one like 71, 72 yards on a dime with no real crow hop or anything like
Dude was
that.
right behind him.
Just playmaker, basically. Just a playmaker play that was an absolute dime. And that is, when you see things like that, and he's the first quarterback, I guess, in NFL history to have 30 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons passing. He had 31 last year. He has 30 already this year. And that's via Field Yates' big-time brain. So we appreciate Field and his love the other day. But this dude is a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
6'5", 6'6", whatever the case is. Beautiful hair.
Oh, yeah.
The hair's all the way back. I'm happy we did that, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
I don't know who was in his ear or if it was just him who said, I need to get my hair back
smart.
immediately upon that thing getting buzzed. I think it was the strength coach who was doing all his jokes on Hard Knock.
Yeah, true.
You remember that?
He's a comedian.
Yeah, he's a good strength coach. Though. Boys love him over there. They move weight for him over there. Happy the hair's back, but I have no clue what the Chargers are. It's hard to, when you watch Justin Herbert with how big he is and how he carries himself, you know, he's kind of an introvert, but he goes bananas whenever something good happens on there. Everybody says he's a great teammate. He's bought all in. He's got a wicked personality. That's what Brandon Staley actually said. But it's only his second year. I have no idea what the Chargers are going to do, what they're going to become, or if we can continue to bet on them going forward. Big time win against Mike Glennon and the Giants. Some big time plays were made. But going forward, I don't think any of us have a fucking clue what the Chargers are. I hope they get going. I honestly do.
I kind of feel like the league's going back a little bit, and these skilled finesse teams, like you don't know what you're going to get out of them every week because every once in a while they get smacked right in the mouth.
Oh, because the defenses have learned how to play, what to do. There's a lot of, and this happens against the Bills. This has been happening against Lamar. A lot of corner blitzes coming against Lamar. I think even with the RPO game, corner blitz, somebody with place, he has to read that real quick if he's going to throw it to Mark Andrews, who seems to always be open.
Yeah.
It does feel like the ridiculous, high-powered offenses, not that they're going to be obsolete. That would never be the case. No. But I think the mindset of a lot of defenses in the NFL was, hey, they're going to get their yards, they're going to get their points. We just have to stop them in critical moments. I think now it's like, yeah, they're going to get theirs, but we have a chance to really take over this game if we want to. And that was what everybody was talking about whenever the game was evolving and changing into the game that it is, taking the college concepts, bringing them into the NFL. And if you listen to any high NFL IQ brain people talk, like, oh, this game's getting pretty basic. There isn't as much breaking down. You don't have to protect anybody as much. The defensive coordinators, who are also high football IQ people. Not all of them. I think there's some stooges out there calling plays. I don't know everybody, but I assume some fan base just said, no, our fucking defense. This guy's terrible. Once they got a chance to really sit down and see other people have success and then, ooh, we can add some of this on it. We can add some of this on it. I think you have seen kind of some offenses take a little bit of a notch down in the expectation of them just lighting up everybody because the defense is evolving. What will be next for the offenses, you think? What's coming next? Because they're going to have to change too now. They'll continue to evolve, maybe to be more run game. I know the quarterback being able to move was a big conversation piece. That's why the Mac Jones draft pick was one. He had to have an entirely different workout, remember?
Oh, yeah, I recall.
See if this guy can run a little bit. Let's have an entirely different pro day to see if he can move and make off-balance throws. I'll be interested because it does seem like some people are coming back down to earth on the offensive side of the ball. But you know who's not?
Who's that?
Like the like Kyler and Cliff and them. It seems like
They run the ball now.
Yeah, you have to. I think that is the game changer.
Packers, Aaron's incredible, but A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are fucking awesome too.
Yeah.
Every team that can run the rock.
Pats.
And stop the run.
And old school football people are just screaming at the clouds. Have to be able to run the ball, have to be able to stop the run. And for like a good 5-6 year period, it was like, I don't think so.
No. Yeah.
Nick Saban actually did an entire speech where he was like, if you think you got to be able to run the ball, all right, you be able to run the ball, stop the run, and win field position, that ain't football anymore. Football is changed. It is completely different. I think it has kind of gone back to that a little bit. Got to be able to run the ball, especially against these smaller, built in strategy design defense because every linebacker has to be able to run as opposed to the old school A.J. Hawk, big jaw linebackers. Everybody's got to be able to run. So maybe the Chargers stout up a little bit for the run game. Maybe they get going there deep. Eckler's still playing, right? He made a big time
yesterday, but
I saw him make a catch. He got hurt on that play.
I don't know if it was on that play, but I know he left the game yesterday and didn't come back.
Got to be able to run the ball though in 2021. Never would have thought we would have said that at how the way the game was kind of evolving and changing.
The Chargers seem a lot like the Cardinals from last year, where it's like they have these flashes where they look so good, and you kind of forget that, like, oh yeah, Kyler, like this is still only his second year, like it is with Herbert, like, and that so like every once in a while they will come out and just have a dud, and it's like, okay, you can see like he's still just
how much money did I lose last year on Kyler?
A lot.
Yeah, too much.
That was every week.
Because they started, like 4-0, and then kind of
I was having so much fun. He hit that little stutter on a guy, and I'm oh, cool. My gambling mind says, all right, if they got a guy that can do that, they don't have a guy that can do that. I'm going to bet on that guy.
Yeah.
And then there were some games where it was like, I'm a genius. I'm making so much money off of this team. And then there were some games it was like, that team, how'd you lose to the Carolina? Fucking nobody's losing to them.
Right.
What are you even doing?
So you're like, Nagy, you were having fun. I
was having so much fun. I'm having so much fun, man. I would like to know the delivery of that answer. I'd like to know that.
Probably just like that.
I'm having so much fun. Hey, do you have any strategy you're going to change maybe to keep this thing going? Maybe keep Aaron confused or anything like that, even though you haven't? I'm going to continue having fun.
I'm just going to try to keep having fun.
I'm surprised you didn't say I'm going to Disney World, too.
Well, I think if it gets a big...
Sorry.
Who's having fun coaching your team?
Yeah, a lot of I's, not we's, you know?
That
piece of shit.
Oh, he didn't get a chance to chat with everybody yet. He was going into halftime.
That's right.
You know, he didn't get a chance to chat with everybody. Is everybody having fun?
Glad he's not a sideline guy.
He didn't. They hate him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Lambeau. I mean, there was defense introduced again, by the way, huh?
I guess.
Yeah, they just won't do the offense.
What's that all about?
Interesting.
And they did. There was a nice conversation where I put a tweet out to remind myself of a question I should ask.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you and LaFleur had a nice little conversation there before the Mason Crosby kick. Was that like, we should go for this because, you know, it happened in playoffs. We didn't go for it. What do you think? And I think Aaron said, kick the ball.
You could see it 1,000%. He's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to kick it? You want to go for it? What do you want to do?
And that's, by the way, Aaron said he'd like to be a little bit more a part of those conversations whenever it comes to the front office. Him and LaFleur have always had a great... Is LaFleur got a barber that lives in his house?
Man. He is always...
And then, by the way, perfectly
clean.
His entire...
Do teams have a barber in the facility?
I don't know. We started having, like, random barbers show up, like, every other week. But it was... That'd be a good idea. It'd be a good idea. And then if LaFleur has somebody in his office, it seems like every single day.
Because remember, we visited Minnesota, and, like, I know Bama... Like, colleges do, so I figured the NFL would.
Do not. That is not. Those college facilities are being built just strictly to tell some 17-year-old that our place is cooler than everywhere else. In the NFL, you get to play here. Yeah, you get to play here. This isn't all right, but
get a haircut on your own fucking time.
I assume the star down there has a couple.
Yeah.
Couple down there.
LSU's got that cool room with the circle cam.
Bro, Brian Kelly. Hey. Hey, my family, take home the Baton Rouge. That guy will go right into a living room, do whatever song and dance you need.
Don't matter.
Hey, how's it going down here? What up, Whoa? I'm doing my thing. Walker Howard, by the way, I love you, kid.
Hey, here we go.
Hey, you gonna be a tiger, Walker?
Son of
Oh, Brian Kelly in the slow-mo. I love him. Hour 2 on the other side. We'll see you in 6. Cheers. I like the Bucs. They've won by double digits in every fucking game. And if they decide to run with Leonard Fournette, he can fucking do it. And the Bills can't stop the run. I mean, Jags stink. All right. So Braves ain't going to lose to no chop ass.
So can they find a way to lose by 7?
Maybe, but I'm never going to pick them ever again. You know? So I'm going with the Titans. I like. With that being said, shit, yeah, dude, give me the Cowboys.
All right, I got to take the Seahawks here at -8.5.
Me too. No conversations need to be had. We all understand what's going on here. Easterby is still running the Texans.
Sky Cam, I think, is starting.
I believe.
Oh, okay. Give me the Chargers.
Yep.
All right, give me the Niners because it's cold and they haven't been able to do any extra work. All right, give me the Saints -5. These guys fucking stink. Give me the Broncos.
Give me the Packers.
What?
What?
Yeah, me too, dude. I mean, Nagy says, what Aaron said after he scored a touchdown on my team to beat me again was so rude, and I'm going to make sure everybody knows it. What Nagy needs to do is, I stink as a head coach in a lot of situations. And now I'm putting the NFC North big dog in Lambeau. He's probably going to have his little turtleneck thingy on.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man, Pat, it's an honor to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're a legend. Thank you for putting me through my workout and having the scouts actually come watch me kick at West Virginia. I don't think I've ever fully thanked you for that moment, Coach.
No, man, I've drank the McAfee Kool-Aid for a long time.
Let's get right into it. The locker room culture changed completely when I was in the league, from when I was a rookie to when I was done, and I retired after the 2016 season. Now it's even more different, I would assume, from when you came into Pittsburgh and everything like that. The dancing on the logo, the TikTok, everything like that you guys have had to experience. What is your messaging in there? How do you adapt and let players be themselves without, doing too much? Because that is a fine balance that you've been able to do, I think, in an incredible job with throughout your entire time in Pittsburgh.
I think for me, more than anything, I try to stay connected. Just getting a sense of where these guys are coming from, what's in vogue for their generation, what captures their attention, how do they learn, how do they communicate, how do they interact with each other formally and informally. And I think being a parent kind of helps me. My boys are 19 and 20, so it's not much difference between them and some of the younger guys that I deal with here. And so for me, it's just about gaining an understanding, working to stay connected. That's my general attitude, man. It's adapt or die for me. And I don't want to be one of them old crusty guys, man, that just refuses to adapt. Although I am one of those old crusty guys now.
Yeah, you are old as shit now. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been around a long time. I remember back in the day, whenever you showed up, there was a lot more, to the camera. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Now you're just old ass man now, huh?
You know how it is. Years in this business will scar you, man. It'll settle you down.
That is classic. One of my favorite moments with you is when you would tell me every warm-up, I'm going to get you back to Pittsburgh when you're old and cheap. What's that mean? What did that mean? And should that have been taken as a smack in the mouth, like whenever you said that to me?
No, man, it was a tip of the cap, man. There's certain guys around this league that I'm really interested in, but I know I cannot afford. And you were one of them, so I was going to wait for you to physically deteriorate a little bit until you came back into my wheelhouse. Yinzers
are going to go bananas in Heinz Field this weekend. First time it could be filled up in a long time. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to... Oh, mama, I'm here. Oh, my life, Is that your alarm clock? Yeah, just say yes, by the way. Yeah.
It's my ringtone. It's my alarm
clock. We appreciate you, Coach T. Last question before we let you go. Why'd you let Troy Polamalu do what he fucking did to me? I know you've heard of this. Why? Well, that's a short side of the field. That's bad football. You guys coaching unsound football over there in Pittsburgh? How did that happen?
We know you and love you as a man, But on Sundays in the fall, man, you're the nameless gray faces that we.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a losing season, absolute legend, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Tomlin.
Thank you, Coach.
Joseph Montana, Italian-American out of Western Pennsylvania.
It was a kidnapping attempt of his infant grandchild.
Yeah, in the house. They came into the house, right?
Yeah.
And then he was sitting on top of the stairs. He was like, put the baby down. And they said, no. And he said, ah. And they said, no, I'm taking your granddaughter. He said, ah. And they said, I'm taking it. He goes, you asked for it. Skechers up, Skechers down. Yeah.
Dart.
There's no way.
Then he ran down the stairs, and the baby caught the granddaughter after the beak of the lady that was trying to snatch the baby. Passed out. It was like one of those, boom, and they like dropped it. And Joe Montana, he actually slid down the stairs.
Head first.
You know how, like that, how people surf almost down the stairs? He did that and caught his granddaughter like this, and then he picked up the ball, and he actually put foot on kidnapping suspect, called the police with his Bluetooth and waited there.
Unbelievable.
That's fucking Joe Montana, dude.
That's right.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, December 13th, 2021. Hour 2 of this glorious day begins now. It's actually the 13th hour, I guess, of this glorious day if you go off the Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is second hour of this show that overreacts to everything that happens on NFL Sundays. That's what Overreaction Mondays are for, to say things that might not be as reasonably sounding on Wednesday or Thursday. On Monday, you're allowed to do such a thing.
That's right.
Week 14's almost done. Hey, let's savor these days.
Have to.
Flying by.
Let's savor these moments because the clock is ticking and these weeks are flying by, and a lot happened yesterday. And joining us now from an attic in Ohio to chit-chat about all things happening in the NFL, a man who came to this studio and wrecked my entire desk on Friday, AJ Hawes. Thank you, AJ.
What's up, man? That's a complete lie. You know I didn't mess anything up. I left.
Jesus
directly after the show.
fell. Jesus fell.
Huh? Jesus, where was Jesus?
Exactly.
there.
He's everywhere
Yeah.
is the problem. And you need to find them because what you do to this office and this desk is problematic. But I do appreciate you traveling over from Wexnerstown to host this show right here every Friday. And we're very lucky for you, AJ. Hey, legit.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I believe me, I have a great time when I come there to the land of Jared Fogle where you live and get to do the show. It's a lot of fun.
No, he lives way north of the city.
Like at least 12, 15 minutes away.
Yeah, miles, but that is about the same here in Indiana because there's a lot of highways with 65 mile an hour.
Oh, that's right.
They fly around and get to a lot of places quick. But listen, the Fogle situation is one that I think the people of Indiana would rather forget. So I do appreciate. How about when? I mean, he's up in one of these wealthy neighborhoods up here where some of my teammates are. Group texts or messages popping off. Why is there 75 helicopters above my house right now? What is going on?
Did people know? Like, were people aware that he lived in the area though before he got in trouble?
So I think people in his neighborhood, like immediate neighborhood, knew. I don't think it was like one of those things where it's like, "Hey, the subway guy is here." You know, like I don't think.
Not know? He walked 30 miles a day in his neighborhood.
No, well,
Just hammering.
yeah, but I think he did that before he got to this neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Carried the big pants with him too at all times.
Yeah.
Had to.
That was the old neighborhood. The
Motivation.
new neighborhood that he moved into, big houses, big side of town. He was smallest. Okay, so this was a whole new thing. But yeah, a lot of messages. So why does anybody know why there is, Black Hawk helicopters hovering right over my. They were down low, I guess. There was people. It came in for like a full.
They took
thing.
over like the whole street, didn't they, and just take everything out of his house?
Yeah, and there was a lot, I guess, in there. He's a terrible guy, but I couldn't even imagine if they could get into Wexner's castle.
Did people think he was shooting like a Subway commercial, maybe? Like, I wonder if they're shooting something new for Fogel.
Oh, they're dropping a sub in.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's going to eat a 75-foot party sub.
Yeah.
I've told the story before. He and I ended up in, maybe that should have been the moment I knew. I should probably, not go out every night. Like that was something that when I walked into a nice establishment here, maybe on Monday or a Wednesday, depending upon the day of the week, early in the week, not really a lot of people or places to go in Indianapolis, but the crew that did go out was a hell of a time. I mean, we had an absolute blast, and I tried to get a table, back in the back so we could relax. It was right next to Fogel, and that was it. That should have been the day where I was like, all right, Subway guy and I are sitting in the same area.
I just saw photos. Nice house.
Yeah, it was a big house.
It's a nice house.
Sold a lot of subs, dude. Terrible guy. Anyways, let's talk about football. I mean, this is 4 minutes of you being a terrible person and doing.
You've been the one speaking, not me.
Well, I had to explain why you brought that up, because there's some other things I assume you're going to bring up throughout the next couple of days that, is just unfathomably toxic. But you just have a great old time in your attic. But let's talk football, all right? That's what people would like to hear from us about. Whenever you watched that Packers game last night, you thought to yourself, here we go. The defense isn't playing great, as great as they have. Special teams is playing nowhere near great. But there wasn't really a question, I don't think, that the Packers were going to win that game. For me, at least. And I had a super boost on the line. The Packers had the win. I was never really that, I never lacked any confidence last night throughout the game. Maybe I should have with how bad some of the special teams plays were and how Chicago was connecting on incredible plays. But I just felt like the Packers were going to win that thing regardless. What was your takeaway from watching it? Nagy was having so much fun in that first half. Everything kind of changed, I think.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I thought the exact same thing. Now, I doubt other people have like the extreme confidence in the Packers that we do. Or maybe they do. They should. I have extreme confidence in Aaron and what that offense can do. But their defense was fine. I think basically I wasn't worried for the Packers because they did everything you could do wrong pretty much, giving up 97-yard punt return, the reverse. That guy Grant.
Starting field position was like the 8 or the 9.
Yeah.
I mean,
every kickoff went to like the 50, I felt like.
And you had to think to yourself, in my head I was thinking, there's no way this continues for the entire game. Yeah. Like every bounce is currently going the Bears' way, but maybe that is just how it's going to be for the entire evening. But for me, they can't play any worse. Go back to that Aaron Rodgers thing, please. The stat from ESPN Stats and Info. Thank you, ESPN.
Thank you, Stats and Info.
Aaron Rodgers threw 4 Thank you. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions for the 7th time in his career versus the Bears on Sunday night. That is the most such games versus a single opponent in NFL history. And I appreciate Mitt, I think, who put together this graphic. What if this was him saying, everybody's talking about me talking about being their fucking landlord and dad? I mean, it's fucking true, dude. Yeah. What if that is literally what this moment, exact thought was? This is like, what if Mike McCarthy has one of these as well in Washington? I fucking told you. That feels like what it was. And I love the fact that this son of a bitch is always smiling. Something terrible will have just happened. Let's say a 96-yard punt return to the house. And they're going to zoom in on Aaron's face. Aaron's face gets zoomed in on, I think, more than any other quarterback because of maybe how you get some reaction out of him. He never seemed like he wasn't just like, whatever, this is just another kind of casual thing. I can't wait to chat with him tomorrow about it. It makes that mindset, and I guess this is kind of what he talks about on a regular basis, like just being in the moment, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a real thing, though. It is. Yeah. It's crazy. That could that team, they're going to have to figure it out on special teams, though. That team could go, though. It feels like they're built, again, shout out to Goot. Shout out to Gutekunst.
Shout out
to Gutekunst. Devontae Adams said he goes out in practice and catches some punts, and Gutekunst tells them, hey, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Okay, Gutekunst brought in Rasul Douglas. Gutekunst was able to make it work.
Andre Campbell, who's been unbelievable.
Perfect. Another addition to the team, Randall Cobb, he brought in. Now Randall Cobb is going to return later, and hopefully he'll make a big-time play so everybody thinks to themselves, that was the first Gutekunst, Aaron Rodgers collab, it feels like. But if you listen to Collinsworth and Al Michaels talk, Gunther Kuntz and Aaron think this relationship's going to continue. And they said, we have no scientific proof of this. They didn't say that exactly, but the feeling we had was that this is going to extend. Is that what you think so, AJ, as well? Do you think that as well right now?
I think I've said that on here. Like, I just don't see any other place having like a better setup than Green Bay than where he's at. And of course, I'm sure if things went the way he wants it to, then he said he would love to be in Green Bay his whole career. But I just, as of right now, like, what other options are better for him? Obviously, every team would want him, but I feel like everything's set up in Green Bay where he could make a run at it for the next, who knows, 4 or 5 years.
So is his house just like a mall out there, dude?
Has to be.
Does he just have everything in? All right.
In Green Bay?
Yeah, I'm going to go down to a golf simulator wing down there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out to a bar that has like an outdoor seating down over here. Because the thing, Green Bay, much different than any other city in the winter, right? There's really nothing. You go to actual villages where there's places and things to do. And I guess there's the Oneida Casino. Oh, I love the Oneida Casino. Okay, I'm very thankful for the Oneida Casino, but I don't think he can do that. Or is he just a dude that doesn't give a fuck about any of that? Like, hey,
I don't think he cares. Like, I don't think he cares. Oh, there's not a, the nightlife scene is just not as good as it should be in Green Bay. I need to go somewhere else. Like, no, he's been there for almost 20 years. I think he's pretty comfortable there. He enjoys it. He enjoys the people. So I don't think that's any part of his decision going forward.
Hey, did you see his doppelganger, dude?
Oh, man.
Did you see it? Look at that.
Holy shit.
Man.
Dude's got a dark beard. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
AJ, what do you mean?
This twin.
This might have been the guy.
I hate to be like the pessimist or whatever. I just feel like it got about 10 minutes more play than it should.
Well, add a couple more because I got some things to say about this. This guy might have been the guy coming out of the coffee shop going to his Prius.
Oh, yeah, could have been.
Remember, in L.A.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you can't see this guy's feet, but this might have been the exact guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're going to say the guy who ran in Game of Thrones, too.
Oh, this might be the dude.
An actor.
It is. I mean, it is a spitting image, AJ.
Have they identified the guy yet? I would assume he's been like, oh, yeah, hey.
Yeah.
He is I believe he's a foreign man. I'm not 100% sure where he's from.
Scotland, I believe.
Is he?
I think so. I'm not positive, but he looks like he's from Scotland.
Oh, so you just looked at a guy and said that's where he's from?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so no sources at all?
No. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but my best guess,
I think he's from Kansas.
No, he's a Euro.
Is he for sure?
We don't know. We have no idea. That's just from.
I mean, that's why I threw Kansas out. Who knows? We can all
Could be from South America.
The guy's a big time Packers fan, though. I mean, he's got the jersey on, he's got the hat on.
Yeah.
And by the way, whatever camera person found this, good eye. Hey.
Yeah.
Good eye.
NBC with the good camera work. You're right.
Good eye. All right, let's talk about the rest of the. Oh, go ahead. You want to?
Well, no, I wasn't going to pile on this, but also the Texans punter. It was a big day
Oh,
for the Dolphins.
yeah.
Hey, Cam's a baller, by the way. He was at Ohio State. I believe he went to the Ohio State. Then he was at the Philadelphia Eagles. I've seen some videos. I've never met him in person. I've seen some videos of him destroying footballs, like just hitting them further, never popping one, but destroying footballs and hitting the ball so far like a rocket off of his foot, an Australian. So I was very interested whenever he left Philadelphia. I thought they would have signed him for the long haul. Now he's down in Houston and getting some big time play because
he's jacked. He's got big old arms too.
Yo, dude, he's an Aussie Rules football player. Those guys, I mean, you have to be kind of.
Those are men.
Yeah, you hit each other. Like I think you grow up kicking a ball back and forth and tackling each other. Like I think that's just they're all incredible.
He looks very, very similar to Bill Burr though. Like
he does.
His head and face. Jeez.
I think that's a look, right? The bald with a little bit of red, and if you have it as I think there's probably a few of those out there, right? That's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers dark hair, beard, slim face thing. Like that could be the Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, if I look like Bill Burr, I'd fucking love it, though. I mean, Absolutely. What a legend. Think of how pale he looked on that conversation with us.
Man.
What was that all about? Was that our fault, you think? Was this like a Helwani situation?
No, the background, I think, is what killed him because it looked like he was in like a dark room and it just kind of made his head pop.
You guys got me ranting. I fucking love him. I like that is...
He was in an interrogation room. Why was he in that room?
I don't know, but he was fucking delivering the goods. Yeah. He is unbelievable. I think he's coming in studio this week.
Really?
What? I think so. Is that this week?
Yes, it is. This Friday.
It's already the 13th.
That's right. Yeah, these months fly by.
Hey, it's December 13th, dude. Week 14 is about to wrap up tonight. We'll get your prediction here at some point. Probably.
How did I do?
You did great, dude. 9-3.
You did really, really
great
good.
week.
job.
Oh, what's your fake record?
Not bad, dude.
Whoa.
I would say
10-2. Congrats, bud.
Thank you so much. I mean,
Sure, that's legit.
okay. I mean, we ran a commercial.
I need to
about-
go back there. Did I really pick the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You're a client.
All right. Hey, I'll believe you. I guess I believe you.
Well, this was Taysom Hill with mallet finger. We didn't know what the hell was going to happen.
You took the Raiders. You picked the Raiders over the Chiefs?
10 and a half, remember?
Yeah. That was close. You almost got it.
We forgot about the circling the buses last year. You never would have. If you remembered that, you never would have done that.
Yeah, it's not until you're watching the game where you're thinking to yourself, golly, how did I forget about that? How did I not know that was going to happen? For instance, Ravens-Browns, I should have got that one as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, that was one.
You would have never been able to guess that they were going to stomp
Listen,
on
the
the
Browns
logo.
was the right side.
Jeez. What's that?
The Browns was the right side.
I agree. Should have been the entire time. What the hell's going on? What are we doing in Cleveland?
Baker stinks.
No.
That should have been a win for us for sure.
Hey, did you see the comments coming from Baker Mayfield about the internal voice? Did you watch that interview with Kurt Warner or not? I didn't think at all dissension. So I listened to it and watched it when they aired it. So I didn't watch it live, but when they aired it, I didn't think immediately dissension with the building. I thought Baker potentially lost confidence. That's what I thought it was about. I thought his internal voices or whatever, internal messaging was like him telling himself, and maybe he had lost a little bit of confidence through the injuries. But then the reports came out, and they're like, no, he was talking about him and Stefanski don't talk anymore. They're talking about, an anonymous source said the building wasn't releasing his injury information in the same fashion that he was because they weren't. Stefanski,
they were downplaying it. They were downplaying it. He was basically saying like, I'm really hurt. I'm fighting through a lot of stuff, and they're like, oh, he's gonna be fine. He's all right. So he probably, I like. If he saw that and he knows how much pain he is in, yeah, I'm sure he's like, all right, okay, here we go. They got my back.
Yeah, that is something that I think Baker, I think I would even, if that was happening, if we weren't on the same page or talking to each other, I'm the quarterback. That's always going to be uncomfortable and awkward to begin with if you're on bad terms with your quarterback, let alone if it's on a contract year. Oh, wow.
It'd be almost like, what if like LaFleur or the Packers coaches are like, oh, Aaron's fine. He's a baby. Stop talking about your toe.
Yeah, that toe means nothing. You know what I mean? So what are we, fucking pinky toe, dude? Cut mine off. We have an offensive line coach over here. He's got 8 toes. Both pinkies cut off, dude. He's fucking unbelievable. You think he cares? What if that is what the Packers did? You think they cared about their toes like the old Hut Gut coach? What was his name?
Bob Wiley.
Yeah. You think they were worried about calisthenics when they were running across those?
Normandy.
Normandy.
Doing push-ups and pull-ups.
Imagine if that's what the Packers did. Imagine if that's what LaFleur came out and said. You think they were worried about that? Would be much different. I'm not saying the Browns are doing that to Baker, but you could see how a player would be like, hey, this is kind of fucked up. You guys are underselling it, whether it's for business purposes or for reputation, whatever the case is. That's on you guys. Joining us now with a big old brain. Host of the Man to Man podcast and Everything DB, joins us every Monday, sometimes additional times throughout the week to share his incredible knowledge with us, ladies and gentlemen. 9-year NFL vet, Darius Butler.
Yeah! What's up, fellas?
What's up, dude?
What's happening, man?
Hey, we're just talking about Baker Mayfield and the reports that are anonymous. So I don't know how much anonymous source shit you can believe, and we'll talk about Urban here in a bit. Obviously,
me and Urban are tired of that shit.
Yeah, Urban's sick of the anonymous source. We'll fire him on the spot. But let's talk about the anonymous source or sources coming from Cleveland saying that Baker and the front office aren't on good terms. Baker and the coach are distant this year and they're doing things differently. Do you believe any of that, or you think this is all bullshit? One day after a big-time win over the Ravens, this is kind of what we're talking about because the future is such a question mark.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it, in this day and age, in this environment, where there's smoke, there's fire. And it's a lot of sources, a lot of leaks. I feel like a little more than there were even when we played. Just everybody's kind of putting their own narrative out there in the media. So I definitely believe it for sure.
Well, I think sometimes, too, these sources, I know like with the Urban thing, people are saying like, oh, did an assistant coach go to a media member? It could have easily been an assistant coach complaining to somebody that they're friends with in the facility, and that person's friends with the media.
Training room.
Hey,
yeah,
that's the biggest. Whoa. That's the biggest area. People run their mouths.
A lot of talking.
A lot of talking goes on in there. So yeah, it could have been anybody, but I mean, it's been bad ball from the jump with Urban down there.
Now that's not all and everybody in training rooms, because there's a lot of secrecy sworn to in those training rooms, and there's a lot of great relationships in there. But goddamn, there's a lot of things talked about in those training rooms. I've walked into some training room conversations and, well, how did we get Here, what are we even talking about? But you have to, because there's a lot of hours in there. The trainers have to make you continue to want to be motivated to get through some incredibly painful shit. Then there's decisions being made that are very expensive for all parties involved. The training room is a sanctuary for basically every single player. So you got to have great trainers, you got to have great physical therapists, you got to have great doctors. But also, when you have all those things, there's a lot of great conversations going on.
Yeah.
A lot of great conversations happening as you're battling through there. Let's talk about Brady and the Buccaneers burying the Bills down there in overtime. The Bills, I don't think are dead. I mean, that's a great team in Tampa Bay, down in Tampa, and a good performance. What are your thoughts on the Bucs, and what are your thoughts on the Bills, D-Butt?
I mean, I was on here a few weeks ago, saying I had no concern with the Bucs down the stretch. Still don't. Didn't like how they finished the game yesterday. I'm sure, and that's always good coming off a win, because it's a lot of room and a lot of area for improvement. So I'm sure they'll get right back to the drawing board. The Bills, I mean, they're never completely out of it with a quarterback like Josh Allen. Defense lost Trey White, and they've been having issues stopping the run. Fournette had another good day against them yesterday. So they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to stop running the playoffs. They're going to have to get that type of play, that second half play that Josh Allen was giving out there. They're going to have to get that down the stretch. But it's tough when you don't have a running game on offense, and that defense is kind of banged up and kind of getting punched in the mouth by kind of the class of the NFL right now. So they got to stop the bleeding in that department.
D-Bud, how confident are you in the Titans coming off a shutout of the Jags, 20-0? They win. Awkward handshake with Braves and Herbs afterwards. Like, do you think the Titans are legit?
Nah, not without Derrick Henry. No chance.
What about when he comes back, though, for the playoffs, hopefully?
If he comes back and he's still, King Henry, and then you get A.J. Brown, who has to be healthy, I mean, it's not, to me, outside of Patrick Mahomes, I don't have much faith in any of those quarterbacks over there in the AFC. So, Mac Jones is young. He's still having improvement on that level. Lamar Jackson's banged up. Baker is kind of, he's average. Then you got the young guys, Herbert and Burrow. So,
Carson Wentz, dude. Yeah. Are you kidding me, Carl, bro?
I mean, I don't trust him. I don't trust him on that stage against the big dogs. Against the Patriots on the big stage against Mahomes, I don't trust him. At this point, he could prove me wrong.
Bro, he will be able to do this right here.
I trust JT.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He'll be able to. Boom. I bet you he'll be so good at that too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Go give me that. Whoa, boom. Bang. Let's go play off football right there. Hey, there you go.
That's what you want to do, right? Hey, you're gonna need a special guy at that quarterback position, man, to not only get there and contend, but to win it. Those guys on the NFC, man, A-Rod, Kyler, Brady, like it's a different type of class out there.
Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers in last night's game against the Bears, in which he has more 4 touchdown, 0 interception games against the Bears than any other person has against any other team in the history of the NFL. This is one, game shortly after being asked if in-game trash talk he regrets it all. I mean, there's a lot of people calling people a lot of terrible things on the field. Yeah. I don't know if all of that is going to be treated the same as bulletin board material. I hope that's not the precedent going forward, but it was in this case with what Aaron told the entire city of Chicago, who was telling him to fornicate himself with 1 middle finger or 2 from every person in the crowd. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on that team going? Special teams, they got to figure it out. Defense, they gave up some big-time plays against Justin Fields, who looks like he's going to be great in the future. But do you feel like the Packers are a team that's going to be there in the end in L.A.?
Before I even get into that, I'm with you, AJ. I didn't think that A-Rod doppelganger was that, on point.
What? Couple haters, dude.
I'm right there on the same page.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to fall out of your seat reacting to it.
No! Come on,
AJ. Sleep because of it.
Hilarious.
Haters, dude. Hilarious. You guys a bunch of fucking haters, bro.
But A-Rod, the Packers, man, it's scary to run into at this point in the season. And that defense, man, they've been playing well, especially on the cornerback position. That was kind of one of their areas of concern coming into the season. They spent the first-round pick. Alexander, who's a top 3-5 guy out there corner, he's been out for these last few weeks. Rasul Douglas came over. He's on his 6th team, and he's balling back-to-back games with pick sixes. He got the interception into that Cardinals game. And then on the other side, Stokes, he's been locking cats down all year. So I really like that defense, Campbell, the safety tandem. And then A-Rod, he's A-Rod. Just watching him throw the ball last night, like, he's like one of very few, if probably the only, that I feel like when he's throwing the ball, not only is he throwing darts and dimes to these guys, but he's throwing it with like the anticipation of what they're going to do after they catch the ball. So it's like on a different level to watch him kind of throw that ball. So right now, if I don't see anybody, if they get home field advantage, I don't see anybody going to Lambeau and beating A-Rod this year in the playoffs. And I would say the same thing about Tampa if they get it at home. I don't see anybody going down there beating Brady.
Yeah, the humidity is tough, but how about Aaron's face through it all, too? Like, he just looks like he don't give a fuck. Like, at any moment, it's just like, no big deal. He'll hit a fadeaway, somehow laser with touch over a defensive end's hand somehow, just perfectly into a spot. I feel like his throws are creative as well. And I don't want to get too much into this, but like golf, right? They say the thing that, and then the play action. I was listening to Kurt Warner.
Oh, yeah,
Hey, I was listening to Kurt Warner earlier in the morning with two gloves on, talking about the play action and how nobody's looking at the quarterback and how mostly, the defense is reading the offensive line or the running back. So the action really isn't as important. Or I think that's
false.
Well, so hold on. So I was listening to that whole thing and it made sense. And I don't know if he was describing a play or it is a whole. I missed the beginning. So I apologize to Kurt Warner if there was any in there, but it gave me the indication like, oh, that's why nobody really does it anymore. Because I feel like back in the day, it was more of a thing where it was like a full, oh shit, like trying to disguise it. Full commitment to this.
Oh, yeah.
Full commitment. Got everybody.
And see how he tucked that ball right there with his left hand. That's the key. He tucked the ball and then he completely froze, like completely slowed his pace. And if you watch that backs, I think it was 99. If you watch that DN, he was lost. Like he was trying to find a running back and get back in the mix. And then obviously I gave A-Rod the space to come out and roll out. But I mean, that's a skill set. And that is something that Baker, I know he's getting some heat. That's one of Baker's strong skill sets, carrying out play actions, carrying out the boot action, because that goes right in line with what they do on offense. But I mean, it's what he's doing is watching him. I mean, it's poetry in motion. It's kind of like watching like Michael Jordan shoot a jump shot or something. When he throws the ball, it's special. Right there, 1B. Marino, best throw I ever seen. A-Rod is right there, though.
Hey, Marino used to be up in the park with his dad down there in Oakland, down there in Pittsburgh. Just get the ball out quicker, kid. Get the ball out quicker. Get the ball out quicker. And it worked. Hey, he got the ball out real quick. Threw absolute darts. And he had a good time, too, because there were some miserable days to get to those points, I assume, in the workouts.
Sure.
But what a fucking legend. He fucking send it, dude. That behind-the-scenes clip of him. Have you seen that video, AJ?
I don't think so.
He's reading an ad for something, and they're like, do we want to watch it back? We want to watch it back? Nah, fucking send it. Dan Marino. What a legend, dude.
He's a real one.
Hey, shout out you, Dan.
Shout out Dan.
Marino.
Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Debo, we know you're a massive Herbert and Chargers guy. Do you think they have the legs to go, make a run in the playoffs, or do you think because of how inconsistent they are on a week-to-week basis, they might be screwed?
Yeah, I think too inconsistent right now on defense, too inconsistent on special teams especially. But defensively, they got trouble stopping the run. They got some freaks over there. With Bosa coming off the edge, Derwin James. Sante Samuel's a nice rookie cornerback when he's out there. But just defensively, I think they will struggle a little bit. And then you got a rookie head coach. That's going to show up at some point. And Herbert is still young, phenomenal talent. But I just think all around as a team, I don't see them making a strong push this year. But the future is very, very bright over there in L.A.
Debo, you mentioned Rasul Douglas and how he's been on 5 teams. Like, why is it that a guy like that, who no one's really ever heard of, steps out? Like, he's been, basically what's him and Devondre Campbell have saved the Packers defense this year. Is that like scheme? Is that a guy who's just been overlooked? Like, how does a guy like that, who's virtually unknown, have that big of an impact right away?
I mean, it could be a variety of things. Scheme, confidence. You can tell he's playing with amazing confidence. Because the thing about when you're bouncing around and when you're a backup, and this is something me and AB talked about on the show, like as a backup, like sometimes you can't play with that same confidence as the starter. If you're a starter, if you're a guy that's getting played in your slot, that's your job. you're going out there, you're jumping plays, you're being aggressive. As a backup, some people can play a little more tentative, like, damn, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to get caught my pants down, get beat for a touchdown. I could be on the next thing smoking. So that kind of part of it, and coaching, relationships. I'm sure the coaching job, he's probably comfortable in that room, comfortable with the guys, and it all kind of blends in. Man, they look like in that locker room from the outside looking in, it looks like it's good chemistry. It's a good locker room. It's a good thing going on. Kind of what even Pat said about A-Rod and his kind of visuals and emotions on the sideline, like that means something to a team. If you look at Urban Meyer during the game, like you can kind of get a picture of what's going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? You can't fake it. I think his environment, the coaching, and him probably just growing and just being in a good system for him, kind of all those things factor in.
That Urban Meyer lean, you know.
Oh, nothing better.
The bend over, head down. He was even doing it when he was working at Fox with the whistle.
Yeah.
The suit with the whistle. Man, what a scene down there. Anonymous sources, obviously. Anonymous sources, so we don't know, but feels like they are just crumbling down.
It was Pelissero that wrote it, right?
Yes.
Oh, the arrow.
Yeah.
Didn't Urban confirm it to Jay, though? Jay Glazer?
Lombo said he confirmed it today. He tweeted, he was like, yeah, I'm hearing it's worse than the Pelissero reported.
Really?
What could be worse? Hey, D-Butt, coach of the secondary, what have you ever won in your life? We'll wait for your answer.
I mean, anything I won, coach, would be more than you won. You just got here, buddy.
Could you imagine
that
if
shit from college? People just we crown a lot of people that come in. I mean, when you're going from college to the pro game, like it's a completely different ball game. The locker room, the men you're dealing with, is everything is different. Like even when Joe Brady came over, offensive coordinator from LSU, like people were crowning him as like the next prodigy to be a head coach somewhere. And he's fired halfway through. Not to him, but it's just a different ballgame. I think we crown guys too early. But it's tough. It's tough to come to this level and compete, to win, to keep a locker room. You're going to struggle with that team. You're picking them 1 overall. You're going to struggle for a few years, but at least kind of have, some sense of direction, some sense of culture being built in there. And it's none of that right now.
There was reports that he was getting laughed out of meeting rooms. You remember?
Yeah.
Hey, there was reports could you imagine that happening I just wish there was somebody in that locker room, and I guess it was Jones, right? He left, I guess, Marvin Jones? Mm-hmm. Marvin Jones left the building. It was like, I ain't doing this anymore. Imagine what he was doing in the meeting when Urban was allegedly, these are all anonymous sources, but everybody's, I guess, confirming it, going around the room asking people for their accomplishments and their resume for why they should be there. That's insane to think about. That is so.
That's Marvin Jones, too. Like, we've been around the game for a while. We've seen Marvin, this is something completely uncharacteristic of Marvin Jones from the outside in. I
played with Marvin for a year.
Do something.
Hey, D-But I was with Marvin for a year in Cincy. When I read that and I saw it was Marvin, I was like, are you serious? So first off, Marvin would sing for the team all the time. Unbelievable gospel singer, can do it. One of the most positive, upbeat, always smiling, great dudes on the team. That's why I was shocked when I saw, if this really happened, Marvin, man, it must be rough if Marvin's walking out.
Hey, that's amazing. That was back when the Falcons hired old buddy neck brace. Yeah,
Petrino.
Petrino. I guess Warwick Dunn.
It's a great comparison.
I guess Warwick Dunn was. I think there were some reports either publicly or I'm maybe breaking news right now, which I shouldn't be doing, but I think Warwick Dunn, I think he was also one of the nicest humans of all time. I think there's plenty of awards named after Warwick Dunn for what Warwick Dunn has done. And allegedly he was even in the Falcons, this is not how this goes. This is not how the NFL is, pal. That can happen to you. And once that happens, by the way, once I heard they were laughing him out of meeting rooms, it's tough. It's going to be tough to get back in there. It is going to be tough. And not just in that building. In every other building,
especially if you're losing too. If you're winning, they'll put up with it. But you're losing, it's gonna come out.
Yeah, and he got laughed out of there because that was after the fiasco when he stayed home.
Oh,
and then he tried to bullshit his team and say he was doing one thing or whatever. And it's once again, this isn't college. You're never grown ass men. Just handle it. Speak to what it was. You can go bullshit in the media, but in the locker room, we gonna handle that completely different. Everybody makes mistakes. We're all humans at the end of the day. Just be forthright, and then we move on from. When he handled it the way he did, guys laughed him out of meeting rooms. It's not going good from there.
Hey, can't be misleading the media, man. Can't be doing that.
Nope.
Can't be doing that. But it is real. Yeah. And I think we talked about it as it happened. he could have actually garnered more respect in the locker room if he handled it in the right way. It was like, hey, that's all me, boys. All right, got caught up out there.
What do you want?
Made some decisions, but we need to get back to winning games so everybody can get off my ass. Like, that would have been a very transparent and real one where I think the locker room would have been like, all right, let's fucking go, dude. Let's go for it. But instead, the whole place is burned down. They're going to have to fire him. They're going to have to move on. Yet again, Trevor Lawrence is going to have 4 different coaches in the first 4 years. Yeah. It's going to be great. And then we're going to wonder, was Trevor Lawrence ever going to be something? Because Trevor Lawrence, I think, has potential options outside of football to go make a living. So whenever he said, like, it's not like life or death for me if it does well. I remember everybody went after him, but I hope we get to see him one day, and maybe Urban can turn it around. Go ahead, Diggs.
D-Bud, he was trending yesterday. His name is Micah Parsons. Do you have him as your defensive player of the year over Myles Garrett and TJ Watt?
I mean, I would have to say yeah. I would give him. I mean, it's hard to go against TJ Watt. He's been hurt, but he's still leading in numerous categories. Myles Garrett. As soon as Micah Parsons starts trending, he gets the strip sack, picks it up, runs in there for a touchdown. So it's hard to bet against him too. But Micah, just what he does, he's not even a full-time pass rusher. And he's, one of the best pass rushers in the league. And then off the ball, he plays sideline to sideline. He's good in coverage. He's not a liability anywhere. So as a defensive coordinator, 11 would be the first guy that I would put on my team as a defense. So I would have to pick him for Defensive Player of the Year. And what he's doing, I mean, if he won it, he'll be the first guy to do it since Lawrence Taylor. And he's been compared to Lawrence Taylor. He's been compared to Barry Sanders. So, hey, I'm bet with Micah.
How about Mike McCarthy saying we're going to win? Don't you fucking worry about it.
Love it.
And then they win. By the way, that's awesome. That feels good for the locker room, feels good for the team. Just like every conversation with you, sir. We appreciate the hell out of you.
Appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darius Butler. Hey, Big Mike's going to be on Clyde 10 or 9, huh?
Oh, yeah, genius. He should be, but don't you think he started to get a little bit worried? They jump out to an early lead, and then he's like, oh, man, we can't lose this one.
Hey, listen, this can't be because of me. Was that pick because of me? Fuck. What if Big Mike did start taking it on the shins there at the end? The football gods brought down karmic justice on Big Mike McCarthy and an absolutely disastrous meltdown at the end, like the amount of that would have been happening. But instead, we're on the other side of it, and Big Mike and Ron Rivera shook hands and gave a good all right. What do you think Big Mike said there? What do you think he said? Why'd you fuck? What's your deal, dude? You obviously.
Maybe. I mean, that'd be awesome if you did just ask him that.
Hey, what's your deal, dude? I'm a big fan. Then you just say, oh, I made it all about me. Oh, you fucking heard it. I didn't want to say what I said. It came out of my mouth. And I had to make up for it. And we did win, by the way, because I got Micah Parsons. You don't. Are they going to be a team that's going to go, the Dallas Cowboys? Is this the year that the Dallas Cowboys, this is a win over the Washington football team, which is massive for the NFC East, which is, once again, a massive question mark because the NFC East is filled with teams that we watch on television so much but know so little about their actual success expectation. Is the Cowboys the team that's going to go?
They have 3 elite pass rushers, which has always been the formula to win in the playoffs. You just rush for everyone. That's how you won on defense in the playoffs. Get pressure with 4 guys. And then you would think their offense will figure it out. I mean, it's not been great, but you'd think they'll figure it out.
Diggs on the back end, too, like taking his chances, making a play here and there in the playoffs. It feels like that is a team that would go. But, like, I'm not putting them above the Bucs or the Packers or the Cardinals.
The NFC's a problem.
Stacked.
The NFC is a problem.
I think that would be, like, the only concern is, like, Dak has shown how good he is, but then these last couple weeks he hasn't been, like, that pick 6 he threw, like, Rodgers, Brady, like, they're not throwing that pass, and that is the kind of thing that'll bite you in the ass in the playoffs.
Hey, why do you think Rodgers never turns the ball over? We'll ask him tomorrow.
I think I've asked him, like, last year on the show, like, I talked about his, like, touchdown to interception ratio. I'm like, why is nobody else able to do that? He's like, well, I'm not trying to throw it to the defense. I'm trying to throw it to my guy. Okay. All right. Well,
that's
somehow
like
you do it at a pretty high rate.
Well, that's what you said to Luke Fickell. You know, when Luke Fickell was like, hey, Jay, you're in the flat. You got the 1 to the 2 to the 3. And you say, I just got the flat, dude. Yeah, I got the flat. Yeah, but are you going to push 1 to 2 to 3? Yeah, I got the flat. Aaron's speaking in that same fashion. I'm sure you understand. But it is so interesting because all we're trying to do with any type of content is learn more about people and understand people. And at the end of the day, some people it's just like, yeah, I just fucking throw the ball right where I want to all the time. I don't know what to tell you. And probably all the years of me just throwing balls and working on my technique and working out and grinding and watching film and everything that I've kind of committed my being to doing this. But whenever I go to throw it, I couldn't even tell you what I'm thinking. I'm just putting the ball right into a goddamn spot. How about Tom's ball to Mike Evans yesterday?
Yeah. Ooh,
How about that ball to Mike Evans? That was
what a catch, too.
Insane catch. That ball's coming hot. That ball is coming very hot. What an insane catch. Tom Brady, by the way, at the age of 75 here, is first in yards per game, first in touchdowns, first in completions, first in wins, and obviously first in the MVP books right now. That's via @StatMuse. By the way, thank you via StatMuse. Tom Brady is doing all this at the age, and that cannon to Mike Evans, perfectly placed, was awesome, man. It was fucking awesome to watch.
Man, and when do we know when AB may return? I mean, they just have so many weapons.
Well, Bruce Arians talked about today, maybe if he, you know what I mean? If he.
As in, like, they may let him go?
They would have already done that, right? I mean, what
Yeah,
are we
I would
even?
assume so.
So people,
He still has another game, too.
I really enjoy, because Bruce Arians said, we'll deal with all this whenever he comes back, you know? It was like, well, if he was going to cut him, wouldn't he already cut him?
done it right away.
Wouldn't he already done that? I don't think. You think he's going to come back from the suspension healthier than he was before the suspension? Suspension already happened 3 weeks ago. It was announced. He's coming back. Then BA is going to cut him? What is the – I don't know why that is still a conversation. Hey, why is that a conversation? Just
It wouldn't make sense, yeah. It wouldn't make any sense to me.
I mean, with the clock management yesterday, maybe he will.
Did you see that? I don't know if I was just watching it and being a little bit too nitpicky, but whenever I think of like game management stuff, I automatically think like Patriots and I think Tom Brady, where it's always like next step ahead, smart stuff happen. There's a couple timeouts that the Buccaneers took that Tom they were zoomed in on his face and he said, "What? Why are we doing? Why are we doing what we're doing right now?" That can get worked on, right? I mean,
yeah, of course. It's just communication. That's all it is.
Put a headset on Brady, maybe, and then it'll help him out a little bit.
What if Tom had to do one of these?
He has a little mic. Give him a little mic in his helmet that he can speak back to.
You know who was incredible with that? Adam Vinatieri, I think, should be like if these coaches have game managers that are up in their ears, and I don't know how entertaining Vinny would be coming down and we're going to call a fucking timeout. All right, if this happens, blah blah blah. I think he should be one of. There's some people that just have it. You know,
that's how their brain works, where they can foresee any issue coming up, and they can give you, hey, this is what we're going to do. If 10 different things happen, this is what we're going to do for each situation we have.
Well, sitting next to Vinatieri going through all that shit was awesome, like every year, because it normally revolves around the special teams play, right? So the end of halves and end of games normally revolve around special teams play. A kick of some sort is either trying to be avoided or happening, right? So I think since Vinny and I have been so invested in those moments because we're probably going to have to do something if something is not handled properly or don't get to do something because something isn't handled properly. There are some people that are just very, 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 very good at that you never really sit back and go, well, why'd they do this or why'd they do that? For instance, Harbaugh explained why he went for 2 earlier than like the old school thinking is. And I think this is the 15 thing. I think it's the 15. I don't know when it's normally used, but people have started going, we're 14 maybe. Down 14. People have started going for 2 in the first touchdown. And then they can either kick an extra point to win it in the next one or go for 2 again to tie it up in the next one. And this has kind of become a stay that you're more likely to make one of the 2 2-point conversions. And if you make one of them, you're tied. If you make one of them early, you can also just kick an extra point to win it. All that shit. Harbaugh broke it down a little deeper yesterday, and I was intrigued by it. He said, at least we know where we stand after the first one. If we make one, we can play it differently than if we don't know if we're going to make a 2-point conversion later. It was a little bit. It
was interesting.
Yeah.
When I read that too, I'm like, okay, I understand where you're coming from because if we don't get it, I know now it's 2 possessions. I know how I have to manage the game going forward. So yeah, I understand what he's saying with that. I guess I get it.
That was the first time I'd ever heard that laid out that way, though. You know, normally it's you're more likely to make one of 2 2-point conversion tries than you are to make or miss one of the extra points. So you should, like, that whole explanation has always been given. And I've been like, okay, I get it. I get it. But at least keep yourself in the game. That was always my thing. Keep yourself in the game by just making a decision. Like, you can have hope and optimism still at that point. So to hear Harbaugh break it down a little bit deeper and be like, well, from a game management, we want to know earlier whether or not we're going to make that later. It's like fascinating. Interesting. Very, very interesting there. He's a great coach, huh? Harbaugh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're very banged up. Now they lose Lamar Jackson, and they almost won that fucking game. Yeah. They almost won that game yesterday. They definitely covered.
What would Baker's comments have been if the Browns would have found a way to lose that game?
Oh, man.
Oh, my
He would have
God.
left.
Not good.
Just not go to the podium.
The internal voices I thought that was him with self-doubt.
It was him talking about his demons, his inner demons.
Yeah, it really was. I almost sent him I've never talked to him, I don't think, in person other than down there at Radio Row from one stage to another. But I almost sent over, was like, hey, man, don't let him take your joy,
So there was a weird moment in that game where he got hit from behind after a pass, and he got pulled out of the game. And they made the announcers during it were talking well, he's not talking to Stefanski because Case Keenum came in for a couple of plays, and then Baker went back in.
Oh, yeah, and he jogged down the sideline and he pointed.
It was just weird the way it was handled and the way the commentators conveyed what was going on.
Yeah, there's a couple narratives that were being pitched last night and yesterday during some games I heard. It was awesome, little storylines. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is from inside information it feels like we're getting there from. What if Stefanski and Baker just ain't talking no more?
I mean, it feels like they're going to be in the free agency bucket of going after a quarterback before paying Baker.
Let's get to a break. We have to because we are running out of time to take what I was just told, as things change, they surely do stay the same. We're back in 4 minutes. AJ wrapping up beautiful hour 2 on this Overreaction Monday, December 13th. We still have overreactions to get to from around the internet. We still have to pick tonight's game, and we still have to talk to you on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. 1-833-4-McAfee. We'll see you in 4 minutes. Cheers. Had a chance to coach one of these smartest humans to ever play in the NFL, and Andrew Luck. And I've told this story before where he made a check in the OTAs and the walkthrough, like the first one he was at, that the rest of the team didn't even know what it was. It was his first day on the practice field, his first day of practice, and he checked out of a blitz. Was that true? And was it at that moment you're like, oh, okay, we got the guy? Is that immediately how that thing happened? And did that thing actually happen with Andrew Luck?
Yeah, so he finally shows up, and he's missed the lion's share of the whole offseason. No offseason program, no OT. He's made one rookie minicamp, and then he's gone. And he finally shows up. We get out to practice, and we're like you said, we're in a walkthrough, and BA calls a play, and he goes to the line of scrimmage. He's getting everything set up, and all of a sudden it was alert, opposite, makes his check, and T.Y., Reggie, Dwayne Allen, everybody in the back. We had the whole offense over here, the whole defense over here, 3 lines and chains. I spent the whole day, get the F back. I was the get back coach. And all of a sudden he rips out this check, alert, and changes the whole play, changes the protection. We go from a run to pass to run, and everybody's like, what the fuck did he just say? And what is that? We had to blow the whistle, get him back in the huddle, because nobody knew what he was checking to. And we're figuring, okay, this guy is a genius. He is a brainiac.
I have a surprise. Obviously, that's what this show is all about. We have boots on the ground in Cleveland, who I assume knew this was going to happen all along. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Cleveland, Mr. Jason Glazer. Your thoughts on Kyle Pitts to Atlanta, fine sir? Oh, there's a delay.
Well, first and foremost, Pat, I'd like to say, hey, listen, thanks for having me. Cleveland is beautiful this time of year. Granted, it does smell like a mixture of poop and diarrhea and sewage. It doesn't smell great down here. But I'll tell you what, 27 years in this thing, I fucking live for the draft. Love being down here. Love being into Cleveland. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, listen. What do you want me to say? I knew this 2 weeks ago. Really? I mean, do we need to do this whole fucking song and dance? Okay. I'll give you guys 1 through 32 if you want to know. Do you want to have fun? That's nice. You want to not know who's going? But yeah, I had this 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm wondering is if the guy you had in your studio, Mad Mel Kiper, I know that sorry son of a bitch didn't have this 2 weeks ago.
Mike's not plugged in.
Whoa. Yes, I did. I actually just explained it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
didn't. No,
Yes,
you
I
didn't.
did.
No, you
I had
didn't.
this.
I did.
Yeah,
I
no,
did.
no, you
I
didn't.
did. You
I
didn't.
had this.
I
I
did.
had
You
it.
didn't.
Trust me. Can
You
I
didn't.
talk for Christ's sake?
Okay, fine, yeah.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
talk? Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah. Like I said, Kyle Pitts,
No, you
unbelievable
didn't.
talent.
No, you didn't. You didn't fucking
Yes,
have
I
it.
did.
You're a bad sack of shit,
Jason.
Kiper. I know it. I looked at your mock draft.
Jason, please relax. Oh, my God. Had no idea it was going to get like that. Sorry about that, Mad Mel. Obviously, there's a little bit of content there. He's saying you don't know your ass for a fucking hole in the ground, though, Mad Mel. How do you feel about that from Jason Glazer live in Cleveland?
Well, classic move. You know, Glazer looks like he's getting ready to go to a goddamn titty bar or something like that. I mean, dress up, pal. It's the NFL draft. Look at me. I'm dressed to the nines. You know, you look like an asshole. I mean, just get him out of here, can we? I mean, is he going to stick around? Can we get him the hell out of here?
I think his microphone's still on. Jay, can you hear us? Jay, is everything good back there?
Listen, fuck you guys. I'm out of here. I'm going over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going to hang out with Dee Snider and Twisted Sister.
Are you serious? Okay, Jason, sorry. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, Jason Glazer.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ho, 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 fellas. Nod your nice. 'Tis the season to perform.
Yeah, it is. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is at the top of every man's wish list this year.
Hell yeah.
Inside, you'll find their lawnmower body trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body, and the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, those things are great.
Oh, ho, ho, hell yeah.
Ho, 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 what? Now, these are our picks for Manscaped Surefire Win Stocking Stuffers. Number one, the Manscaped 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, which just launched. Kill two birds with one stone.
Holy shit.
Number two, the Manscaped Cologne Infused Body Wash. Shears 2.0 Luxury 4-piece nail kit. The Crop Mops, which are ball wipes for your stanky balls. Sure. And, of course, the Manscaped Signature Cologne. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/Pat. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped.
Shout out to Manscaped. Did you see the? You didn't see it.
I didn't. Yeah, I really didn't get a chance to see it.
AJ, did you see this?
Look at the roaring fireplace in the background. Like, what a nice holiday picture.
Oh my God,
that's incredible.
Oh, the guy's winking too.
Oh, is he? Because
the Nutcracker.
Oh well, this is known.
Oh.
See?
Oh, it is.
Well,
he's winking.
Nut cleaner.
He's blinking and
oh,
winking.
and he's raising his eyebrows too.
Hey, how you doing?
I didn't know we had a moving nutcracker on that thing.
Pretty cool.
Don't crack or nick your nuts with Manscaped. Welcome back to the show. AJ, a lot of people watching today. Welcome to the show. You heard about us probably less than a week ago when you heard how much money was potentially on the table from our good friends at FanDuel, the #1 sports book in America. You say, hey, why does that show and those people get that type of thing? And then you popped in here today, you started watching, and you said, I cannot believe this is what society has become.
This is bullshit.
This is unbelievable. I want to let you know.
Downfall of society, probably.
I want to let you know, I agree. All right? Tim McAfee used to strap on his boots in the morning, hop in a truck. And he was a long-haul truck driver mover. Okay? So he's not just a truck driver. He's also was a professional mover. Put the two worst jobs in America together. That's what Tim McAfee was growing up, and I saw him do that. Then he moved into the wood. My mom's secretary had to deal with me. I completely agree with that sentiment. But also, welcome to the fucking show, dude.
Here we go.
Welcome to the fucking Thunderdome.
And welcome to the Thunderdome, dude. 12 to 3:30-ish, basically Monday through Friday. And we like to have a good time here. Our phone calls, very hit or miss.
Oh, yeah.
Need to let everybody know that.
Yeah.
These expectation for the phone call should not be that as if we have professional people calling in.
No.
Not at all.
It's like baseball.
These
Does
are not.
anybody have professional people calling in?
Yeah, I think that's like segments on different shows.
Well, I mean, they take a lot of callers, but callers usually have like a hot take or something to get the guy riled up.
Well, there's regular callers that are also superstars in their own. You know, I call in Dahn Feinbaum. You know, like
exactly.
that. There's those type. But what I'm saying is we haven't got there yet. There's a few that are home runs. The initial one that we had from way back, whenever we were still at Barstool, we were live on Sirius XM, was a goddamn shipyard painter who called in. Right. Now he's part of the crew. Dump. What's this guy's name? Dump. He's gonna stink.
He's gonna poop.
How's it going, Dump? Then he gave a great call, great energy. Now he's a part of the show. Can't thank him enough. Let's go to Adam in Michigan. Adam, what's going on, pal?
Hey, shout out. How are you?
Hey, shout out you. How are you?
Well, pretty good. Thanks. I got a question, a culture question.
Okay, here we go.
Because the Jags and the Lions are both awful. But one team seems to be still fighting hard and playing for their coach, and the other one seems like it's imploding. What's the difference there? Like, why is one team on the way up and why is one team completely falling apart? What's going on inside that locker room?
Well, do you remember the first messaging from the coaches? Urban Meyer came in and said, the word elite gets thrown around too much. We're going to play on the edge, okay? On the edge of greatness, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. In Motor City, Dan Campbell came in and said, we're going to chew fucking kneecaps, dude.
Yeah.
All right? So the crew that he was building from the very beginning was a blue-collar bunch, probably pretty like-minded people they brought in, and he was a part of that. He hired a bunch of ex-players. Hey, we're going to be doing this thing together, man. Hey, this is what we're going to do. Urban Meyer was very much figurehead, kind of like, this is what we need to do, set the example. And some other shit happened. If MCDC was founded at MCDC Chop House on a weekend that he chose not to fly back home with the team after a loss and was doing the finger Jeff Hardy thing, I mean, he would have lost the locker room as well. I think it's just a couple different situations like that and an entire mentality. Although one team stinks and the other team stinks, one team can kind of hold it together. The other one seems to be burning down at the seams.
I guess that's a good point because we're not hearing anything like this come out of Detroit, are they? Like, hey, they've lost faith in the coach. They don't think they're going in the right direction. Like, have we heard anything like that?
No, there's a lot of celebrating, actually. In the locker room, hey, this game ball goes to MCDC. One of the players, and it felt genuine, seemed genuine. Will it be the same 4 or 5 weeks from now if the same type of stuff's going on?
That's right. One of them's authentic and one of them's a snake oil salesman.
Oh, we'll see hour 3. All right, we just ended Sirius XM hour right there. That was terrible radio. They got that. We won an award for being a radio show, though. Shout out to us.
Shout out.
There's other radio shows that are not happy about us winning. Is that what it is? It's about the award.
Yeah. Oh, the big league.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
It wasn't about the deal.
radio Oscars.
It was about the radio.
The radio Oscars. You already have the radio Heisman. You have the radio Heisman and the radio Oscar all in the same year. Of course, people are going to be upset.
How about it?
Do you have any thoughts on that, though? Because Urban Meyer is getting run out of town, laughed out of the rooms. And
I am wondering, though, like, I'm curious, will he be there next year? That's
No,
every time I
way.
see them, I wonder that.
Everybody, you would be one of the only people that would actually know, though. Why don't you
How would I
send a
know?
text?
Come on, dude.
Text who?
Urban! Say, hey, Urban.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. You think you're going to have the job after January 10th?
Like, pretend like he does it in strength.
It's all in how you phrase it, dude. So, like, if you listen to Peter King, all right, Peter King said that Urban Meyer's friends need to send him a text and tell him to do yoga.
That's you.
It's an actual quote. You need to maybe send him a text and let's decorate this message. We know at the end what we're going to want. Hey, we want to know if you think you're going to be there or you want to do whatever. But let's decorate it. Hey, pal, you came into an impossible situation. You had no idea what the men's league was like. You thought you knew because you talked to scouts who would come and visit your players that you recruited whenever they were 17 years old. I understand that you were tasked with something that was damn near impossible. To turn around the Jacksonville Jaguars in 1 year and then the Chop House incident happens. You're just having fun. Fuck. You're just having a good time. You lost everybody, but you're going to come back and be great, right? That's the plan. That's what you do. You let him know that you're on his side. Yeah, it stinks. Not your fault. None of it's your fault. Double guns,
Yeah. It's a pretty lengthy text. I don't know if he's going to read through this whole thing.
He's looking for something.
Voice memo.
Yeah, you should end it with, by the way, what do you want for Christmas? And then
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Lead off.
Christmas.
Okay. Maybe start with Merry Christmas. He's like, oh, okay, here's a positive message.
Why did Peter King tell him to do yoga? Was it so he could start performing self-fellatio and he wouldn't have to go to the Chop House over the weekends?
You feel good about that?
Did he talk about any ribs?
Yeah, you got to take the ribs out.
Mention the rib.
All right.
Ty, that was a pretty solid take.
That's why nobody
Eliminate the distractions.
Dude, nobody will ever.
Welcome to all the new listeners and watchers.
Nobody will ever be able to take us serious. I would like to let everybody know that's new, by the way. The opinions of everybody speaking onto these microphones do not reflect that of their peers or their employer, by the way. I'd like to let that be known. But this is a show that lets people go ahead and say their thing, no matter how terrible and wrong it is. Yoga is just to clear his mind.
Would that be that bad, though, if that was his goal?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not a crime.
I could see Herbs being like, oh, boy, yeah, I could just do that, whatever.
Speaking of taking the show seriously, I'm gonna poop my pants. You care if I go real quick before we get back from Sirius?
Yeah, we got time. We got 3 minutes.
You can make it. Just stay here.
Poop in a bucket or something.
Come on, man. It's for the show.
He's got his boots on, by the way. He the full
Halloween boots.
Hey, the Halloween tone is everyday tone now. Look at those boots, man.
These boots were made for walking.
Where you going?
Open your pants.
That's what I'm saying. With a lot of leg movement there for the
know.
potential.
I thought.
Yeah, he didn't have to go that bad. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. I almost.
It's like a Baker situation where Baker's saying, I'm really hurt, and the team's saying, no, you're not. Like Diggs is saying, I'm going to dump my pants. Obviously, he's not.
And that's what the team's now saying, that you're not, because you're out here doing your Copperhead Road 4 dance.
Yeah, that's
right. No.
Cotton Eye
Line
Joe
dance.
Yeah.
No, Copperhead.
Copperhead what?
Copperhead Road. Dude, you ain't never been to Roanoke, Virginia, in the middle of the fucking hills of Virginia, dude, at a saloon?
Come on.
You ain't never been there. You have no idea. You wouldn't understand what it's like to be in the middle of the hills of Virginia at an actual saloon where the doors do this thing. You know what I mean? In a town where the bank is right across the street.
Mm-hmm.
You would have no idea what it's like to walk down Main Street, turn into the saloon, and then hear Copperhead Road come on, and everybody comes rifling in on actual horses to the saloon to hit the goddamn Copperhead Road. I mean, it was the greatest thing I've ever experienced, like, in that world. It was, the doors were boom, boom, like getting blown open while people were sprinting to the dance floor. The entire town was fucking, that was like a bird call when Copperhead Road comes on. I wonder if they turn on a siren outside, like, hey, it's happening in this bar right now. It was amazing.
There were a couple cowboys in there too. You could tell they were competing, seeing who's the best and who wasn't. It was awesome.
Oh, dude, there's some real deep. I mean, there's some real cow. Normally, what I've learned from the line dancing bars that I've been to in the past, there will be somebody dressed in all black with a black hat at the very front. That person is the reigning champion of that dance floor. Okay. If somebody comes do-si-doing in from another part of town, they are to not wear all black, but I do believe they get a championship opportunity. Yes. And I think that championship opportunity is always Copperhead Road. So not only are you experiencing an incredible dance session and you're learning the electric slide with an extra kick and a little bit more of a giddy up there, you're also watching two Titans clash, if you look in the right area.
Tyson Ali, yeah.
It's unbelievable. It was the Rumble in Roanoke, dude, and the reigning champion shut it down that night. It was unbelievable. All right, hour 3 is on the other side. This show is terrible. This is what it's like every day. We don't understand its success either. But we got more of it coming to you in about 40 seconds, and it's going to be magical. We'll see you then.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. It is hour 3 of this Overreaction Monday, December 13th, 2021. Right here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We shall begin right now. Shout out to Dahn for that beat drop. This is AJ Hawk, sitting to my left, your right, in an attic in Columbus, Ohio. He is a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, and somehow this man with the greatest jawline in sports weaseled his way onto the Ryder Cup team, and he is now also a Ryder Cup champion, AJ Hawk.
Good to be here.
Man, what a fucking
sack of shit.
I thought you were really going to get into everything that we potentially should be talking about in the football world. Week 14, NFL Sunday was yesterday. Tonight, the Rams travel to Phoenix to take on the Cardinals as Week 14 shall finish. We're starting to see the pretenders and contenders. We're starting to see some teams pull away. We're starting to feel the effects of the long season with injuries happening and scattered all over the NFL. Tonight, the NFC West's best, which was allegedly framed the group of death because they were all going to eat each other with how much talent is out there, is on display as Kyler Murray, the young superstar representing FaZe Clan.
FaZe Clan.
Whoop, whoop. a gaming team that he is a part of, because not only is he great at football, he's also great at video games and baseball. This dude was drafted top 10 in both sports, absolute superstar who has grown into a stud alongside Cliff Kingsbury in a defense that has Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, Buda Baker in the boys. And on the other side, Aaron Donald out of Penn Hills, Pennsylvania. Pitt stud, grown man, defensive player of the year conversation every year. Some are going to say he's the best player to ever play football. Bullies people with Matthew Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, and everybody there. This is a star-studded game tonight. AJ, this is a big-time Monday Night Football matchup. I'm excited for it.
I know I've been going back and forth on who I'm going to pick to win, but I think this is definitely a matchup of two offenses that can be very, very explosive. So it should be a fun game.
Is there any Monday? There's no Monday Night Manning.
I don't
think
so. No.
He said he'll be back after Christmas.
Man, real letdown not doing this one, though.
Yeah,
This is a big one. This is the one we wanted.
Yeah.
What if tonight's a big dud? What if
Oh, no.
somehow, some way, both defenses just shut them down completely? What if it's 3-0 tonight? What if it's 3-0? 2-0? What if it's 2-0 tonight? I mean, that would happen in this NFL season, and we go, of course, that happened in the year after COVID, where more insane shit's happening this year than it did last year. Matthew Stafford has to get a win here. This is a big-time game for Matthew Stafford. Now, the Cardinals, obviously top of the class, best record in all of football. They've been nothing short of dominant. They traveled into Chicago in terrible conditions and were able to get a win. I think that makes them feel good for the future in the playoffs with how much growth and maturity and on the field they've had. But Matthew Stafford needs it tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Cardinals are good. They're going to be there, at the end. They'll probably be one of the last 4 teams in the NFC. But I feel like this is like the Rams can change a lot of people's opinion about them if they win tonight, and if they lose, it'll kind of just be like they're pretenders. They're going to make the playoffs, but they can't beat anyone when they need to.
I was looking at it. It's interesting matchup wise because the Cardinals run the ball second most in the league. The Rams are number 3 in opponent yards per rush, so there's that. And then the Rams, we know, throw the ball a fuck ton. The Cardinals are number 3 in stopping the pass. So it's like
strength versus strength.
Yeah. Interesting.
Wow, the weaknesses kind of count each other out. Oh, no.
So that's a matchup for a low-scoring game then, right?
It feels like it. If you're going to take away your strength, the team's better. Like James Conner has become a touchdown scoring machine over there in Arizona.
Nobody talks about it, though. Why isn't he getting the credit he deserves?
I think he was minus 130 or minus 140 for anytime touchdown score. When I looked at it yesterday, it was like, yeah, this dude's going to score a touchdown. Like, that's basically what they're saying. Nobody is talking about old James Conner. And I think it's because even though Phoenix, 4th largest city in America, beautiful place.
Oh, yeah.
So
what's Chicago?
3rd. 6th. 3rd largest.
Oh, Zito always pops in.
Second.
What's his name?
Second. We all know that.
What happened to Houston?
No, Houston's 4th.
Yeah.
So Phoenix is 5th?
Yeah, it's down
I
there.
think it's
on the rise.
Yeah.
At a rapid rate.
Yeah, but Houston
is massive.
Houston just grows.
Yeah.
This way.
Also growing incredibly
Gains
fast.
a quarter mile on each side every year.
I don't know. There's not a lot to talk about. It actually does. To get from one side of Houston to the other, you're driving 7.5 hours.
That's right.
5.
Houston's
5th largest. Not a lot of conversation about the Cardinals ever, right? Is it because they're young? They're new. Last year they were kind of like this team could be good. There's a little bit of talk, and then inevitably they let people down. So maybe people don't trust them as much. They're an incredibly electrifying team to watch play too. Kyler Murray, D-Hop, that connection they have. AJ Green, he's there. Big name, has been great.
Zach Ertz is there now.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, he's been very good.
And their defense has superstars too. I mean, Chandler Jones, people know of him. Buda is unbelievable back there. Simmons, they have so many studs. Whenever you look, and JJ obviously is hurt right now, but yeah, you would think they would get more attention with how fun they are to watch, and how you just watching Kyler alone, like you're watching a guy that does things that nobody else could do, and how he moves and everything.
Who you picking tonight, dude? Who you got? Let's do our selections right now.
Here we go. So at first I was thinking of going Rams, but I'm going Cardinals here.
Oh, that's what I'm
because I know you want me to take the Rams.
Well, I'm going with Cardinals as well, dude.
Okay.
For the good of the record, I have to pick what I want to pick. I thought you were going to take the Rams. This felt very much like an AJ Hawk taking the Rams.
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't you?
You shouldn't assume what my picks are going to be.
All right, so we're both on the Cardinal. That's a shame.
Yeah, bummer.
That's a real bummer.
I may change. I may change before the show's over.
No, well, I might as well. Yeah. I mean, I might as well, depending upon who we talk to, how do we talk to him, what we talk to him about. This 2 doesn't. Look at the picture of this guy right here. Just look at him. Anytime I want to go and say, this is Cardinals all day, what are we even talking about? Then you see Aaron Donald right here like, hey, I trained with fucking knives 4 months ago, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yet last week, who was it? Terrible team.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. I'm so sorry. I did not mean that the way it came out, but the Rams played against them, and we knew nothing afterwards. We're like, okay, they took care of business. Odell Beckham Jr. scored a touchdown. That was awesome. My biggest takeaway from the game was Aaron Donald picked the guy up, okay, and as he was slamming him on his head, he batted the ball out of the guy's hands at the same time and then still buried him. And then it was like, oh, my Lord. And that's what everybody talks about whenever they talk about Aaron Donald, right? And normally he eats up 2-3 blocks at a time every single play. So anytime I start going, like Kyler Murray is just going to skirt tonight. I mean, they are going to do their thing. Dirty put him right in the graphic to stare at us. With Jalen as well. Ooh.
Von Miller.
Ooh.
Yes, tonight the night that Vaughn kind of goes off for the first time for the Rams.
Well, and also, and I don't want to speak for Von Miller, but I think he and Demaryius were very tight.
Mm-hmm.
I think he and Demaryius were very, very tight. I believe that was a very tight locker room. What a sad, hey, listening to everybody talk about that guy, I wish I would have got to know him.
Oh, I'm with you. I didn't know him personally either, but I know plenty of guys that coached him and played with him. I thought it was cool the Broncos and Lions did they came out with 10 and took the delay of game to start, and the Lions declined. It was cool to see. Like, when was his last year in Denver?
I don't know, 4 years?
I want to
5
say
years?
18 because he had a stint with New England before he went to the Jets.
Oh yeah, the stint was not. It was. And didn't Tom hate the way it was handled?
Yes.
That's why Tom posted that photo of
2018.
Demaryius at the Peyton's Hall of Fame thing. It was great to see him because I forgot that was alongside this decisions that were being made that were allegedly pissing off Tom behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah, because he really liked Demaryius. I'm pretty sure. It was preseason, but in his last preseason game before we cut him, he had like 3 touchdowns or something. And Tom was like, "What the hell are we doing?" And then we got AB.
And then that happened again because of everything that was going on off the field. And Tom was pissed off again. But there's nothing anybody could do with what was going on. I'm happy for AB, by the way, appearing to have his off the field stuff. I mean, I guess he just got caught up with the.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. Anyways, rest in peace, DT. I'm happy the NFL said what's up to and saluted somebody that they had respect for. That's absolutely incredible. Okay, let's bounce around a little bit. George Kittle's unbelievable. This was it 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 in the fourth quarter. I forget what it was. Must-have catch for the San Francisco Niners. He jumps up at full speed, leaps, fingertip grab, obviously crashes down to the ground like it's no problem. He is so good. And this is another massive city with a huge fan base. The Niners faithful is so big. His stats the last 2 games via StatMuse, he had 181 yards a week ago with 2 touchdowns. And then he has 151 yards with 1 touchdown against the Bengals. Massive plays, like game-winning, needing plays to be made. He is a freak show, dude. This guy is so good. Why does he not get talked about as much as he should as well, AJ?
He should. I know he's been banged up this year and missed some time, but I mean, if he continues to put up numbers like this, I sure as hell hope people will start to give him some credit. They do, I guess. He's absolutely a superstar. But you're right. Like, he is the guy. I was watching that game live too. Like, when they need him, like when they need a first down, and it's a big moment in the game. Everybody knows, hey, Jimmy's gonna find Kittle, and Kittle's gonna make some unbelievable catch between 3 defenders, sliding down, and just whenever you need him, he's so reliable, and he has that Gronk thing too when he catches it, and his yards after the catch can invigorate the whole stadium because he's rumbling, knocking people over. You're like, oh, this dude may score from 75 yards out.
And shout out Iowa, go Hawks!
Go Hawks, baby!
Feels like
Kirk's
he loves
dogs.
blocking. I feel like he loves blocking. But how about last week when he was literally 6'5", 250?
6'5", yeah.
6'5", 250, and he was running down a sideline at 20 miles an hour or whatever on his tippy toes doing like a fucking plie without stepping out of bounds. I mean, he is freak show, dude. Absolute stud. Good for him. I'm happy he's having as much success as he is. Are the Niners a team? I mean, tonight we got a big-time matchup, obviously, in the NFC West, but the Niners, they could be getting going at the right time, too. Now, Jimmy is Jimmy G, and Jimmy will always be judged against other quarterbacks that play nowhere near as similar game as Jimmy G plays. But that team, They let Cincy back in it. I mean, Joe Burrow is a guy. Will the Niners be able to figure it out? There's so many teams that could get
Everybody's
hot.
alive. Like, everybody's alive, I feel like. And, yeah, I guess I don't know. Like, who's going to separate themselves here in the last couple of weeks?
So there's 13 people in the NFC, 13 teams in the NFC as the Week 14's wrapping up here. 13 teams still very much alive. Like, hey, how you doing? Keep it moving. And then in the AFC, same exact thing. There is so many teams, coaches that are walking in and going, hey, we have played nowhere near our best football yet.
Yeah.
We have given up games. We've let people score when we shouldn't. We've made some bad decisions game management-wise, strategy-wise. We've chose to attack the wrong things. But literally everything is still in front of us if we want it. We can still win everything we talked about at training camp 14 weeks ago. And at this point, normally, we'd have a much better grasp of things. We can still go fucking get it, even though it's going to be hard to top a lot of those quarterbacks at the top.
The Atlanta Falcons are a tiebreaker away from being in the fucking playoffs.
Artie Smith down there dialing things up, beating the Panthers. Now, the Panthers are an interesting story as well because Matt Rule has always been chatted about as being a guy in the NFL. Hey, they got it right with Matt Rule. And I think he originally started at the Giants in his coaching career. Then he was at Penn State. Then he was at Temple. Then he was at Baylor. And then he got paid to go be the Panthers coach. So I guess we've kind of left him off of the college coach going to the NFL because I think he started in the NFL as a Giants assistant or whatever. Maybe it's not working for Rule down there either. Just fired Joe Brady in the middle of the season. Is that because Matt Rule feels a little heat and a little pressure on him that he's going to have to win more from the richest owner in the NFL who is not scared at all to move on, doesn't give a fuck about what contracts are and who he has to pay? You think that's something that Matt Rule's thinking about right now, or you think he's locked in?
No, I mean, I'm sure he's locked in, but every coach, I would imagine, at all times thinks that, hey, I may walk into my office and my key card might not work tomorrow. Like, I'm sure they have similar fears that a lot of players have.
That'd be awesome.
They also feel like they have no idea.
Not be awesome for him to get fired, but it would be awesome for Matt Rule to get introduced to the NFL real quick when he goes and does the beep, and then AJ.
Oh no!
Was that A-Rod?
They both broke.
It was both.
Oh no!
Wait, who's the other? Who else broke?
Well,
Bubby.
I just want to let Robert Mathis went down. We're gonna have to get another one.
My goodness.
Aaron went down. This is all your fault though, because remember you pushed everything.
Yeah.
Your towel.
I didn't move.
No. AJ, why'd you do
Did
that?
Robert's leg fall off?
Can we
His
have
foot?
Yeah,
his whole body fell off, dude.
And A-Rod's head is gone.
His head is.
Can we please have a moment of silence for those two incredible pieces of art that I have been very proud to have on my desk
I'm gonna be sick.
for some
Bob
time.
Ross is gone soon. You can tell.
No, but hey, by the way,
Bob is looking down at them.
shout out Jared. Shout out Jared.
Yeah.
Man, what a run, boys. Man, good run. Robert, you were new. Bobblehead Robert, you're very new.
Just got you.
Very new. You didn't get that good of a run, but you were incredibly well done.
We just lay him next to AJ's dead body on the desk.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we should continue to just have a burial site here.
Should we set up a graveyard maybe and put some gravestones next to him?
Robert's left foot is gone.
Oh no!
Hey, he still gets to the fucking quarterback.
Yeah, he can.
Let everybody know he will still get to the quarterback.
He can run that hoop.
If you get him a body guru with a gi, he's gonna get to the quarterback.
That's Dwight Freeney, not Robert. I think Robert would have told the gi guy to get the fuck home. But
Aaron,
we need to get some
the hat is laid down.
Oh, he lost both feet.
Moment of silence for the run of both of those bobbleheads on the desk. For those that are just tuning in, you don't even know how long those two have been there. Well, Rob, very recent.
Who would have thought if you balance a bobblehead on a whiskey bottle on the edge of a table and you bang on it that it would fall?
Welcome back to the show. There's 40,000 people watching this. Great to see you. I am so sorry to the artist that made those. Remember last time?
God.
The artist community, there's a couple people in the artist community that got so mad at me whenever one fell off because it broke or whatever. You have no idea how much time it took. It was like, I thought I was displaying the art pretty well. Okay?
Yeah.
I thought I was displaying the art and appreciative of the art. Although AJ did push it closer to the edge, which...
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
He moved every item on the desk 6 centimeters forward.
Like that machine at Dave & Buster's where you just keep putting the token in.
Yeah. That's what you are when you come in here. You're like a snowplow with that jaw.
Oh, wait.
I mean, the telescope.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to debut a brand new Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Oh.
He's wearing the
18.
The 30.
19.
Looks real
1960. Oh, yeah, that's not going anywhere.
That's
not going
in.
anywhere.
That's a good one there.
What is he? He's taking a shotgun snap or
Yeah. He's right before calling timeout here. He's trying to take down the entire defense. He might call a timeout, might snap it late, whatever the case is. That's him right there.
I give him. I'll take the under of 10 days before he's broken.
I'd like to shout out the artist that did this. The artist that did this, Big Sky Customs, Bob Brown.
Thank you,
Bob Brown. I'm sorry your work's gonna get broken on this show, Bob.
Dude.
It's going to get displayed on this show,
Put
Bob.
it on that
You're
whiskey
welcome.
bottle again.
I mean, that's a slapdick whiskey bottle. It's sturdy.
Put it on the ball.
What's the over-under, please, on this thing?
10 days.
All right, I'll take you over.
10 shows.
Oh, that's like business days. But what's next week? We're taking off Friday.
Yeah, so no, it's just 10 days.
Just 10 days from today.
It's going to have to be just 10 days
Starts
from
today.
Well, no, because if the show's not on, that doesn't count as a day.
No,
That's
stuff falls.
stay around
Stuff,
here,
stuff falls from the ceiling.
You're right here. We don't even
Jostles
have
the
a
desk.
ceiling, dude. There's a chance that Aaron gets attacked from a blind side out of nowhere.
That's right.
Okay, fair enough. 10
Not
days.
if Michael Orr's protecting him.
Thank you.
Using a jackhammer out back for the parking lot.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
That thing's not going anywhere.
Got locked in. That's good base. That's why he's such a good athlete. It doesn't matter about his pinky toe because look at his goddamn base.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, good luck. Need you for 10 days, pal.
Come on, Aaron.
Come on, Aaron.
You got this, Aaron.
All right, let's talk about some NFL stuff other than Aaron. Kamara and Taysom Hill were on the same field winning football games together. And I think this is the recipe for the Saints for the rest of the season. I don't know if they were on that playoff picture. I did not view it. I have no idea why Taysom Hill was not starting at quarterback earlier. Why did they have Simeon come in? There was a conversation there for like a week, 2 weeks. Is Simeon the guy? Is Simeon the guy? Well, Taysom Hill, the Steve Young, the man who signed a contract that in there says if he goes on to become the quarterback, he makes $40 million. If not, he makes $10 million. Sean Payton. I don't know what Sean McVay thinks of Taysom Hill. I assume he's a big fan. Loves the way he plays football, man.
Yeah.
Sean Payton has said very positive things about Taysom Hill as quarterback, and then when push comes to shove, he hadn't to put Taysom Hill in, but the conversations were still happening behind the scenes. Now they're winning games. He's got mallet fingers, so I don't know if he's battling through more than Russell Wilson had to battle through. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Kamara went bananas. Is this what the Saints are, and why was 31 touches yesterday, 145 yards and a tud for Alvin Kamara via StatMuse? Why was this not the plan from the beginning, you think, AJ?
The whole Taysom situation confuses the hell out of me. Like, I don't understand why he wasn't plugged into the lineup earlier. Once Jameis got hurt, I figured Taysom's the dude, right? Like, with all the contracts and the weird, if he throws a certain amount of passes, that's what will trigger, I guess, him being a full-time quarterback, and he gets the big contract. I would imagine they don't let it get to that point. But, yeah, with everything they say about him and everything we hear, and from what we've seen, like, he's so athletic, why not? It'd be crazy if he's not the guy for the rest of the season.
Well, you'd have to be. You would think. But
31 touches is the key. 31 touches for Alvin Kamara. That's the recipe for success. If he can stay healthy and get him as many touches as you can.
Well, I think we talked about that last week whenever we heard that Taysom was going to play with that mallet finger. You know, the one that Russell Wilson got surgery on in rehab for 19 hours a day.
Yep.
That's right.
Boy. Why not 24?
Got sleep, dude. It's part of the body system. He has a sleep coach, actually, and if he worked for 24 hours, sleep coach would have been unemployed.
Yeah.
Does the guy just stare at him like when he's sleeping? How's that work?
No, he studies his,
Tucks him in.
I don't know.
Like Santa.
Anyways,
Tucks him in. Hey, Sierra, bump down a little bit. I got Tuck Russell's right arm in to help heal the healing process.
whenever his arm is tucked in just this way at this particular temperature, you know, some people piss themselves. He actually sleeps into his deepest sleep. I need that, by the way. If that exists, by the way, send them this way. There's probably
if you put their isn't that a theory? Like if your drunk buddy, you put his hand in the water.
Yeah, he's gonna piss himself.
pants.
But
That's not
also,
real.
but the sleep doctor actually told Russell that actually makes him sleep better. So he will piss himself, but he will also sleep deeper. I don't know. Whatever the case. So as soon as we found out Taysom Hill was going to play quarterback, what did we say? Oh, he's going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball the entire time, and they might just do that the rest of the way. And I don't know why they. I guess because Sean Payton's offense is so predicated on like throwing the ball all the way around or whatever the case.
But it still seems like the big part of when Breeze was there, at least, is like he didn't really need to throw it down the field to be successful. So he could have you throw it with him 16 to 20 times, and then you run the ball 50 times between him and Kamara, like they're going to be in most games if they go with that. Their defense is great. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
Got a great punter down there, Blake Gillikin. Go ahead and play the field position game. Got to do what you got to do. Absolute stud. Let's bounce around a little bit to the, let's stay in the mallet finger family. Seahawks beat the dog shit. Okay, Seahawks get their swagger back against Jack Easterby's Texan. Kaimi Fairbairn, kicker for the Texans, blast a 61-yarder. Shout out you, dude. Shout out you. That's a big-time ball. Big-time ball. Seahawks get their swagger back, delay the conversation that whole place is getting blown up for a week, or how do you think this whole thing ends with the Seahawks?
Yeah, I think it just delays everything a week. That's exactly right. And I saw that graphic. So they're 5-8, and they're on the bubble, so they still have a chance at 5-8.
They're going to have to win out. Everybody's just going to have to win out. And there's so many scenarios. I mean, the Lions, all the way up until yesterday, had a road to the playoffs somehow.
We'll get them next year.
But, I mean, the Colts were out of it. They were on the bubble. But 2 wildcard teams were 7-5. So I think even the Colts knew going into the week, we're going to move up. Somebody's going to lose. But in this particular season, it would not surprise anybody if some team went on a 2 to 3 game snide out of nowhere and some team got hot out of nowhere. Like the Bills right now. They played an incredibly difficult Buccaneers team in Tampa Bay. Very great game. And people are like, the Bills are dead. The Bills are dead because they lose to the Colts with 5 tuds they give up. They play the Bucs. They're in a tough stretch. If that thing gets a little bit lighter for them, which I don't know if it is or not.
They played well, though. Like I think Orlovsky said today, like that's the Bills. Like he is more confident in the Bills than he was before that game.
That's what I think, too. But the question is, they're sitting at 7 for the wild card. What if they lose another one? They're completely out. Somebody moves in. There is so much to be had. The Dolphins are sitting there when we thought they were potentially dead earlier in the year. They can still get in somehow. I mean, it is banana land in the NFL right now.
Well, and the Ravens, right? I mean, they're leading the division, and that's the tightest race in the NFL by far. There's a chance the Bengals jump, 4 teams and win that division, and then all of a sudden the Ravens are out.
And the Bengals have gotten Mike Whitehead and Justin Herbert, and the Bengals can still get incredibly hot and run in the AFC. The NFC is very top-heavy. Very, very top-heavy. But we've seen those teams all lose. So this is, I mean, let's go, NFL, dude.
There we go.
Thank you, NFL.
Thank you, NFL.
What is nice is it is going to come down to Week 18. Yep. Like, there will be games in Week 18 that decide who's going to make the playoffs and who's not. And I feel like in years past, like that just doesn't happen very often. There could be, like, up to 4 playoff spots that aren't decided until the last week of the season this year.
Oh, man, it's going to be hot.
Crazy.
It's going to be hot in the kitchen. What's that, Gump?
Rams-Niners is the last week they play. Like, that could be for everything.
They're all division games the last week.
Yeah, because they had the conference travel 17th game already early in the season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No more bye weeks, by the way. No more bye weeks. Everybody's going to play all the way through. Who you got is who you have.
Damn right.
I like that. I like when there's no more bye weeks.
Me too. The Colts got the last weekend for the bye. Good for them.
Yeah.
Congrats to them. Because
they're kind of rolling, though.
I know.
Big game on Saturday.
I was a guy coming out of bye week where I thought I was going to potentially forget how to punt a ball. Like if I didn't play in a game, so I'd be punting wherever I want on the bye week throughout the entire thing. So I didn't really take a week off on my leg. But if I was at the beach, I'm punting on the beach. You know what I mean? It was just nice to kind of get away, refresh in there. Will the team lose some chemistry? They move up in the standings off the bye. Will they come out of it a little sluggish? Is that what you think? The Packers look like that maybe early, huh?
No, I don't know if they will or not. I know every team kind of handles it different. Some teams do seem to – it's a bit clunky when they're coming out of the bye. But the good ones, that may be like that for the first quarter, first half maybe, and then they usually figure it out and kind of get back into the rhythm.
I hope the Colts go on a run. That'd be cool for the city and this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be all right. But maybe after this week, they can start their run. To
hey, big-time Saturday night game.
Oh, yeah.
Both teams off a bye.
Yeah, both of us.
Bill Belichick scouting for 2 weeks.
Sorry.
What? You think I'm worried? What are you talking about? You've been watching Hard Knocks, dude? Frank Reich watches his film.
That's right. So does Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick watches Hard Knocks. He has a guy that says, hey, you just watch Hard Knocks, and then as soon as you see the board, pause that son of a bitch and see what you can make out in the background.
Yeah, we're not allowed to send cameras in all these buildings anymore.
Yeah, so we have to use Hard Knocks.
It's the fact that they're doing it, we need to take advantage of. That is something that every team, and that's why AJ and I immediately upon the Colts getting it, I think old school football people were all like, oh no, why? It's already hard enough to win. Why would you give anybody anything more than what you've given on film? Why would you let anything else potentially happen? And they said, no, they got it locked down the way it is. But also, as the world is changing, I think we're learning a lot more about NFL and teams and strategy and everything like that. I don't know how much more could be garnered potentially from Hard Knocks, but all you need is one non-blurred out special teams play. And Bill Belichick's like, oh, they're in a... Oh, look like you're a little heavy set over there. What's that mean? Oh, we got to prepare for something. All right. You watch every single play that has ever happened in this fucking sport. Tell me what happens in that particular thing, Matt, Patricia. Fucking get your Ticonderoga into the goddamn cave and watch everything. I guess that is what the worry has always been, though, by NFL people about floats flying over practice or anything like that, is any little piece of information could be an edge.
Even schedule, like even how they schedule their day is a thing I know coaches are very protective of, and they don't want other like organizations know. When a lot of teams do it now where they don't practice Friday and they practice Saturday, and they call it like their Friday day is like walkthrough / big rehab day, and you have like different stations you can go to. When that was like starting to kick up in the NFL, I know like coaches were trying to be real secretive on how they schedule those days, what they did, what the Saturday looks like. Who cares, man? Like you have guys getting cut and traded from teams every single week. You have new guys in your facility every week. Like, if someone wants the info, if they want to know what your schedule is like, they can figure it out.
That was when Chip Kelly came in. You remember, he brought all the Oregon nutritionists and science.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I talked to guys that played for him. They piss test every single morning to test your hydration.
Oh.
Like, if your hydration wasn't on point, they would run you extra after practice and do all. It just sounded brutal.
Well, then here's your protein shakes. This is what you're eating. You are a iron deficient person. Okay, so we add a little bit of fish into your protein shake.
Hell yeah.
Okay, you're going to pee here. We tested your piss. It appears if you're a tequila drinker. What? Okay, well, you're getting piss tested for that every single day. And they were the ones that brought in the Saturday workout before a Sunday game. Get the blood flow. Your body actually responds better from that via a sitting off or sitting out. Because we had a couple guys come from Philadelphia. Colt Anderson, my personal protector, the Montanimal, an absolute stud from Montana, a guy who's coaching now. He came over, and on Saturday, he would start doing like these real workouts in the gym. Like I would just do a couple, let's get these arms pumped a little bit. And we got to walk through, then we're going home. He was doing like full workouts on Saturdays. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He was like, sports science, there's a thought that getting a workout the day before actually maximizes your outcome the next day or something like it has become a lot of that. And because we were always Friday on, Saturday, walk through, get out. And then as I heard that kind of changing, I was like, really interesting. And then when I called the Packers Lions game and we went to the Saturday practice, I was expecting not a lot of shit to happen. A lot of shit was happening. They were like throwing deep, like it was
it's real practice. Yeah. Like I was there when we switched and started doing that, where the Friday was like the rehab walkthrough day, and then Saturday was your normal Friday practice. Yeah. And it was legit practice and trying to be on and off the field as quick as you can, but like get some good burst in there and run around and bounce around. And then hopefully the next day, like with their sports science, they say you're, more springy, your legs have more in them, like all this less lactic acid, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I like the schedule. I like the change.
Oh, so you believe that's science, but mouth guard
science.
science.
I didn't mind it. Like I liked having that Friday day. It was cool. And Saturday practice, whatever, as long as it's not 2-hour practice on Saturday.
What about mouth guard science? Why didn't you believe any of them?
I mean, for me personally, it just didn't work.
How come?
I'm not going to tell you what to do or anyone else, but for me, I don't like it.
Why?
I like to be able to speak. I like to be able to breathe, and I hate wearing a mouthpiece.
Probably wouldn't have
Walt
to get
Anderson.
4 root canals.
Yeah, what about your teeth?
Yeah, his teeth
Yeah,
were
give and
disintegrated.
take.
I wish Walt Anderson would have looked in your mouth and said, open your mouth.
There's no rule in the NFL. There's no rule.
College there is, right? Yeah, college. College.
No, I didn't wear it in college. I stopped after my sophomore year.
Oh!
There's no rule.
Dude's a maverick, bro!
Holy shit.
Bro, you're such an outlaw.
There's no rule. Have you ever seen him, 15-yarder, this guy's not wearing his mouthpiece? They don't throw it. They don't do that.
Well, I mean, maybe they should look out for people's teeth, but there is a lot of people that hate the mouth guard. I never wore one. I mean, I don't know what I would do.
That'd be awesome if you had a huge mouthpiece hanging off your face mask.
The fucking baby binky one?
Yeah.
With the strap to the too tiny?
That would have been awesome.
Oh, let me fucking strap it up, dude.
In college, it's a timeout. You take timeout from them.
Really?
Whoa. Yeah.
So when I had that hit against Denver, Trindon Holiday,
Yeah.
after it happened, the ref who I knew, I forget who it was, but I always had a pretty good relationship with the refs. I guess not, is what I'm hearing. But I always interacted and acknowledged them. So this show is nothing different than what I did in real life. And I feel like, if they're in sports, they can take at least a little bit of shit talk for whatever, decision they make. He comes running over to me, Pat, you okay? And I look at him, I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, no mouthpiece. I remember, oh, no mouthpiece, the guy said or whatever, and then he kind of jogged off. He almost gave me oh, that was awesome type thing though,
I'm sure he was thinking that. He can't get caught on a mic saying that, obviously.
See, I've gotten a couple compliments from refs, and I've enjoyed them, and I thought it made them human, actually. But if the fans were to hear it, they'd be furious about it. I had a good punt or whatever, and I think Steratore even one time was like, rocket, Patty, absolute rocket. I'm like, oh, thank you, Gene, jogging off. But if somebody heard that, they're like, is this guy a fucking fan of somebody on the Colts? Does that mean he's screwing over our team? Not a lot of ref conversation today. The Bills fans have a gripe with the Diggs situation. The Bears fans have a couple gripes because of some coverage stuff and some logistical stuff. But today, I think not as much ref talk as normal, AJ. This is good news.
I feel like the last couple weeks, at least you haven't been ranting as hard as you usually do on the refs.
You're right. Maybe it is just me.
Well, they had a good day.
Hey, good on you. Good on you.
Good on you. Bengals, too, actually. I just remember they got a taunting call on Von Bell.
Oh, yeah, and it was a pretty pivotal time.
Yeah, were people mad about this one?
Oh, yeah, I was. I can't believe this dude got kicked out for this. I cannot believe this. This guy.
Big Mike loved it.
Absolutely. Big Mike was actually there in the shot looking at it, and then you see him walk out of the shot. It's not like Big Mike went to stop it. No, Big Mike was like, all right, go ahead. Go ahead, Leo. This guy hit your quarterback. Do what you got to do. Kellen Moore there. Hey, I'm going to throw the ball with 4 minutes left up a bunch. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. Without Leo Collins in.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Ridiculous.
What are they doing? Why is he doing that?
I thought you paid Zeke all that money to give him the goddamn ball.
What are we doing? Run the clock. This is becoming a storyline. I don't like that he got thrown out for that, though. 15, maybe. But I don't like that he got thrown out for that. I think we should have been, obviously, can't do this, can't do that. But also, what about sticking up for your teammate and being a great teammate? How come that isn't factored in at all by the ref? Because I guess the ref got deboed by the guy who got pushed.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to see past that. The ref kind of got punked out right there. That's on us.
Yeah, it should. Intent should be taken into consideration, but it's obviously not. Not when you get fined and not in this. Isn't the rule book say, hey, if you throw a punch, you're out?
Yeah, but he hit low.
That's the question. What is a punch is my question.
Yeah, because some people open hand and it's 15. And then some people...
if you open hand them hard, they consider it a punch, though, don't they?
Well, yeah, but then sometimes it's considered just 15. It's like a pick and choose thing. So I feel like sometimes it is, intent is are both people going at it. And then, I guess if the ref doesn't get just fucking deboed out.
What if it's a really hard two-handed push to his face mask? Is that a punch?
Or just a poorly placed block. Yeah. Hey, just hands to the face.
Yeah.
That's what makes no sense is some of those were the hands to the face calls. Those guys will get deep up in the face mask and be very violent about it, and they don't treat it. It's just 5-yard penalty.
Zito said he found the rules here. Rule summary, view official rule. Article 1, prohibited acts. There shall be no unsportsmanlike conduct that applies in any act contrary to the generally understood principles of sportsmanship. Such acts specifically include, among others, throwing a punch or a forearm or kicking an opponent even though no contact is made.
Kicking at an opponent.
Kicking at an opponent. Even if you Hezbollah.
So if I whiff?
Oh. Yeah, if you Hezbollah, if you give a swing or you back up or anything like that. Remember that one straight kick that Hezbollah delivered at one UFC event?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there was another one that he didn't connect. That would have been grounds for disqualification if you do that. But if you start swinging, TJ Watt, I guess in his celebration.
Careful.
There's
Cassius Marsh. The best
maybe the ref's
roundhouse kick there is.
That fucking guy. That thing was awesome. And then afterwards, I told you motherfuckers I was going to do that in practice. I told you I was going to do the roundhouse backhand springy, full gi, black belt spinning kick thing. And I did it right here in your fucking face. And then that's a penalty. Get him out of here.
Did Joey Bosa get flagged for his...
celebration?
No, I don't think so.
Great celebration. I would love to see more of that. The teabag, that's awesome. Let's go back to the rules here. Using abusive, threatening, or insulting language or gestures to opponents, teammates, officials, or representatives of the league. So if Roger Goodell's on the sideline and you make a big time catch, fuck you, Rog. Get him. Get him out.
That'd be awesome if he didn't look at him, but he yelled at him as you catch it. Like next, you notice he's on the sideline.
Walt Anderson sitting down there like this on the sideline or whatever. Somebody one hands, one catches it. Fuck you, Walt. Bang, can't do it. Can't have it. Troy Vincent down there getting chewed out by somebody. Boom, 15 yards. Get him out of here. That's unsportsmanlike conduct. So the way they write this rule is the refs can do whatever, whenever, however.
Yeah, pretty much.
Punching at, kicking at, swinging without making contact, abusive language, threatening language, insulting language, or gestures to anybody at any time. It's basically like, if you feel like it's anything, it could be, which is a lot of power for some people.
Look at number 3. Did you read number 3 yet?
Using baiting or taunting acts or words that may
Exactly. What is that?
Engender ill will. Engender. Does that mean create?
I believe so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why do you have to use the word engender? Is that, I don't know if I've ever seen it used.
So this is a lot what happened with the contract between us and FanDuel. Me and Phil were like, I ain't doing this. Can we reword this? In the FanDuel's credit, they absolutely were like, hey, we got you. You guys are a couple stooges when it comes to this type of stuff. We normally deal with just other lawyers that are taught all of these words and what all these things mean. And that's why rule books potentially are tough to read, because it's literally written for somebody else who has to go through an entire education system to understand and read what it is. Engender is probably a word that a lot of the smart people that are new to watching this show are thinking to us, how did you idiots not know this existed? Well, it's because we're not supposed to know what it means. That's why it's put in these rule book for people that are much smarter than us to be able to throw around and make us feel stupid about it. But anyways, the way the rules are written is anything that happens could be used as unsportsmanship.
Well, and then you got a guy like Tony Correnti who reads that and he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to throw 150 flags today. Fuck these guys.
Yeah, man.
Stick my pooper out, and if some guy bumps into it, I'm going to throw a flag.
Whoa, got you there. Boom. Don't hit me. I got stripes on. Don't hit me. I got stripes on. You hit me. I'm going to fucking throw a flag. Boop, you hit me. Fuck you. Can't do anything. That was awesome.
I think the refs should be penalized or marked down in their grading system when they throw the flag with such arrogance and pride, when they hold their arm up. I saw one last week, I forget who it was, yesterday, where in the end zone, this ref just threw it up and kept his arm in the air and just stared at the player. I was like, you punk, man.
You got to watch the wind. It blows from right to left or whatever it is. I think some of them are impressive, though. Some of them huck that thing like 17, 18 yards, and it lands right on the spot that it happened, because you heard Pereira talk about, before the immediate potential review happening in their ear, you used to have to be accurate with your yardages with your throws of your flags. Mm-hmm. That used to be something. Like the spot of the foul, where was it? Well, where did he throw that fucking flag from, I don't know, 45 yards away, right there. Oh, that must be it. Okay, that might be 20 yards off. We have no, the only person that knows is the ref that's seen it. Mm-hmm. And then the film that was watched the next day, now it's all kind of casually created there. But I do enjoy watching who's more of a dart thrower, who's a lobber. The lobbers are the best. They are not happy. They are fucking, I cannot believe I'm being disrespected right now. Get out of here! It is awesome. Absolutely awesome. There's some rules or some statements coming out of Urban Meyer. Demetrius Harvey at Demetrius82. Hey, when this guy was playing tight end, rocking the number 82.
Oh, my God.
Jesus, Demetrius used to be a problem down the seam.
Yeah. Good ball player.
Fucking A, great ball player. He says Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer was asked about Andre Cisco playing more. Again, he said Cisco is playing a little bit more, I believe. I don't have his numbers in front of me. Cisco played 0 defensive snaps. This dude has no idea.
Herbs.
This dude's got no clue.
That's a tough look.
That's like an answer I would give if you asked me about him. Like, because I don't know what he's doing. Like, yeah, he's doing great. He's getting a lot more reps now.
That's exactly what you and me both. I was reading that. I didn't know that guy existed. I was like, who is this guy? And then turns out Urban has no idea either.
Nope.
I don't have my numbers in front of me, that are put together by somebody else who pays attention to the fucking game. If you watch what I'm watching, my head's down most of the time because I can't watch this shit. And that's why I'm asking why everybody's a bunch of losers. Every day, there seems to be something coming out to make you think, what the fuck is Urban Meyer doing in the NFL? He has to be regretting this decision wholeheartedly every day.
Do you think once he saw all these college coaches getting monster contracts too, he's like, well, I should just wait around about 6 more months.
$100 million. I was wearing my whistle on the set of Fox. I was ready. I could have done that in LA. I would have been there the whole time. Oh my God. Now I'm in Jacksonville. My team hates me. What? My family can't be happy. What? My legacy's destroyed.
Yep. What?
and Brian Kelly's dancing down in Baton Rouge. He's going to be so upset. Mind blown. And now
How was Brian Kelly's accent not gotten more attention?
It did.
Did you see the new dance clip?
Yeah.
Baton Rouge. He starts really, I think this is his first time in there. Oh, I like what we're doing down here.
Hell yeah. Oh, no. He looks as uncomfortable as I would be in that situation.
No, the kid for sure. Brian Kelly is right in his wheelhouse. I don't have to drip like Dabo, but you turn on fucking Baton Rouge, I will run these feet on this platform.
Let me grind up on your back now, son.
He is taking the whole platform from the kid.
Up in Notre Dame, normally we drop it low, but down here in Louisiana, we just take his thing slow. All right.
I mean, he definitely thought that whole thing was about him and not the kid.
Well, he just landed fucking Walker Howard.
Yeah, Walker. Yeah.
Good player, 5-star.
It's a sweet name.
Walker Howard? Of course. I love that kid.
Do you think guys see that and they're like, fuck it, I want to go do that. I want to go sign with LSU right now.
Just
back
for
to
the
back
content.
with Brian Kelly and doing the fucking.
You think he takes requests? Like, is there any song? Yeah, Oxcord is ready.
Probably.
Or is
I
it
assume
just
so.
Baton Rouge because LSU?
Is it Baton Rouge? I don't know. I'm
Brian
sure he's
Kelly's
open
Brian Kelly's gonna get sick of that song. That song is gonna change by the next wave of recruits that come through there for
Kid
sure.
Me's gonna put out a Christmas single version of it. 1 week.
Me and my family, Baton Rouge. Wheat teeth on the front porch, blues. I love it.
Hey, who did he hire? Who is his staff?
I don't think.
Do we know anyone?
I think we haven't heard yet. I don't know.
Solo dolo.
Yeah, I think he's doing it all himself.
So this is. He's got the whole team.
Old school.
Yeah,
Old school days.
Hey, he actually brought in Walker Howard because Walker Howard plays quarterback, linebacker, and kicker.
That's right.
All right, so Brian Kelly gets to coach him just, one player at a time, plays every position.
Pretty unbelievable.
Let's go to the phones, please. Jesus. Let's go to. Oh, there's a Xander down in Alabama. What's going on, Xander? How's your family?
Hey, family's doing well. How you all doing?
All right, keep it moving. Is the X pronounced or not? Is it Xander or is Xander?
It's meant to be Xander, but I personally, I'll go by Alex most of the time, just so people don't ask me that question.
Just put an E in front of it if your parents want to do that.
So is your name Alexander and you go by Xander?
No, just Xander. Starts with the X.
Huh.
But your parents called you
Alex?
What? What'd they call you?
Big Al.
Ms. Xander. Call me Xander. Well, she called me Xander, my mom.
Okay.
I tell people. Yeah.
So this is Xander.
Yeah.
Xander.
Yeah,
we
that's
try to
why I
have a
say Alex.
little.
Because I get into this conversation every time.
We'll have a little respect. We'll have a little respect for Mama Xander. You know what I mean? What do you want to talk about, Xander?
Yeah, a lot of exciting football weekend, but also an exciting UFC card. A lot of entertaining fights, insane knockouts, and unexpected.
Champions getting beat.
So, wanted to see what you all thought of that.
Okay, thank you, Xander. So, the thing about the UFC is, especially during football season, I know it's happening. I will watch it, but it's not my main focus. Sugar Sean proves once again, though, he is a knockout artist.
Yeah.
He is performing in there. He actually said it in a post on Instagram coming off a big boy plane. He was flying on a big boy private plane, which I'm incredibly happy for him. He said, I love performing for my fans. I think he's the first fighter I've heard hey, I'm going in there for a performance. I'm going to pick whoever I'm fighting apart. And then he hit him with it literally looked like he punched this person who had been training months and months to fight another human being. Punched him in the face, and it was like, ooh, that was kind of fun. And then goes right back into it. Was that the highlight of the night? I didn't watch the entire thing.
Juliana Pena, she's a champ now.
Yeah.
She beat Amanda Nunes.
Biggest upset in UFC history.
Yeah,
they said.
huge.
Yeah, she rattled the world or shook up the world.
Yeah, Nunes was
Poirier
a minus 1,100 favorite.
Massive
Really?
dog.
Yeah.
Man, congrats to Dana and UFC. Have we taken a break yet?
No.
Oh, my God. We got to get to a break. Jeez Louise. I was wondering why I was about to, pee my pants.
Sure.
I haven't taken AJ. I don't know what AJ has done over here. The music is on now, I believe. Yeah, it's playing.
I just heard it for a little bit. Seems like one of those low ones.
Not on my end.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
That's a loud one.
There it
The
is.
boom boom. Check it out. How's your boom boom?
Big subwoofer in the back, like what's to blow the windows at the frame. It's a party when I pull a big. That was heavy, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Diesel. Sitting next to the bass.
Fucking DJ Griff right there. Blowing windows out. Shout out to you for listening or watching wherever the hell you may be. Hour 3 wrapping up on this overreaction Monday, December 13th, 2021. We have some overreactions from around the internet that we have to hit. And also, AJ has to lock in his pick for this evening. This is the Pat McAfee Show. See you in 4. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, you know, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, it was pretty cool. Roger Goodell gave me a big hug beforehand, too, so that's good news there. Thank you so much. Shane, you drinking? Yeah. Cheers to you, man. That was a good one. That was good. That was so good. Oh, that was. I feel like it went pretty good. Oh, look at the phone.
Breaking holiday news from the Dip Kings of Humboldt County, California. The nation's leading CBD dip pouch that is tobacco and nicotine free. Canadip CBD is offering you guys a holiday gift pack that includes all 5 of their flavors for 30% off. Oh, yeah. That's right. For only $35 total, you can give the gift of mint, wintergreen, citrus, mango, and spice. Head to CanadipsCBD.com and use promo code LIPBOOMERS for 30% off the Canadips holiday box. Again, that's CanadipsCBD.com, promo code LIPBOOMERS.
CANNADIPSCBD.com. Promo code LIPBOOMERS for that incredible deal from our Dip Cowboy Kings.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hey, they're awesome out there, changing the game, changing the world, giving you a little CBD pouch to, put in there instead of the tobacco.
Yeah, it's smart.
That's right.
Healthy.
It is smart. It's healthy. It gives you a little levitation in the knees and the body and the soul. You know what I mean, AJ? All right, before we get out of here, need to know.
Cardinals.
All right. Me too. It's a shame.
Real shame.
Are you sure you don't want to take the Rams?
I was, kind of contemplating, especially because OBJ back. Matthew Stafford's throwing them touchdowns. OBJ back. But I can't think, that Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury, that entire squad hasn't just been a wagon this entire year. Yeah. And the Rams have lost some games. They've won some games. They've looked amazing. And Aaron Donald is an absolute freak show. It is an honor to get to watch him play football. Matthew Stafford's in a much better home than he was in for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But I made a promise to myself that the Cardinals would be a team I would pick, especially this year when it feels like they finally have gotten very confidently consistent. And Cliff Kingsbury has taken the next step as a strategist and a head coach in the NFL. I got the Cardinals as well. Look at us taking a ride together.
Here we go. Here we go, boys.
Let's check out the Bird Gang tonight, the Red Sea Gang from Phoenix hosting the Los Angeles Rams on Monday Night Football. I assume that stadium that is now named the
Phoenix.
Isn't it University of Phoenix?
I think it's got a new name.
Yeah.
Anyways, that stadium in which the grass takes a walk outside and comes back inside. The State Farm Stadium is going to be electrifying tonight as the Cardinals host one of the biggest games of the season. This is what you're an NFL fan for. Tonight's one of those nights where we all get to sit back and enjoy the greatest league of all time. Chris Mad Dog Russo is next. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. Great. That was one of my better.
Perfect. That was.
There's a couple awkward silences there for a second or two. Felt like a real host there. Felt like a real host right there, AJ. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Wow.
Good transition there, AJ. How you doing, pal? Good day today.
I'm doing good, pal. One of my favorite parts, though, from when I was in studio was the very end when Evie was moving the the transition like in and out, and you were beatboxing with it. Like, I don't know why. That was great.
Well, it's the dumbest show of all time. And
it was just I guess it was a great visual representation of what this show is.
How talented Foxy is. How we have the ability to put a show together. The day after one of the largest announcements in our show's history, just from a 2-star hotel in LA and some internet. We were going to potentially go and use a studio. A TV studio out there. We're going to be very professional, but obviously the way we go about things does not mesh well with the technology of how every other show on earth exists, I guess. So,
could you go like a normal studio? Could you go use it and do the show? I assume you could. Right?
We could, but then Foxy has to direct. He can't actually push the buttons. He has to tell somebody to push the buttons, and Zito can't do any. It's like there's just all.
Is it union stuff or what? They won't let you touch it.
I don't know if it's union stuff or it's just these rules at these studios because their stuff is so nice. And by the way, it is. Their stuff is very, very nice. So you have to go through an entire process to get qualified to use their thing, and that's somebody's job. So Foxy would have to stand right behind them and say, do this and then do this. But that's like a part of the show is, the cutting of the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to explain that to people, but, it's our show stinks and theirs don't, so they would never get it.
True. They just won't get it.
You know what I like to get?
What?
I like to get a little Egg McMuffin when I'm up early enough for McDonald's. I'm joking. I was up early enough on my flight back. I couldn't fly home on Friday night. I had to fly back Saturday because of all the storms. By the way, T's and P's to everybody in the middle of America that got attacked by a tornado that seemed to be larger and more powerful than any tornado in its past.
Is it got, like Kentucky got blasted, didn't they?
Yeah.
Not just Kentucky.
Illinois did too.
I think went for 200 miles, they said?
Something like that.
200 miles.
Was it crazy windy in Indy? It was in Ohio.
Yeah. So I couldn't land. They literally, the pilots were like, we can't fly back to anywhere in the middle of America for at least the next 6-7 hours. I'm like, what? What happened? Like, there's a big storm coming through. Very, very windy. And then even the next day when I flew back, there was massive amounts of wind. The wind
5
was
o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, the wind was still going. I mean, that was T's and P's everywhere. We are so sorry for anybody that was affected by that. That is such a. When I moved to Indiana, I've told the story before. When I moved to Indiana, the first weekend I was here, I was in a hotel, and a citywide fire alarm went off. It sounded like, and I was like, "Well, I'm not getting up for this. Whatever this siren is." You know, I grew up. It was the volunteer firefighters. Yeah, that was the sound you heard. Whenever a siren went off, it was like, "Hey, all volunteer firefighters, get your fucking asses down here. We got some stuff going on." And there was always like this Blazer and Bronco that had the blue lights on top that would come flying by. It's like, "Good luck out there.
Go get them."
Appreciate you. My first weekend in Indiana after getting drafted by the Colts, this whole thing goes off, big loud siren or whatever. I'm up in my room, probably about to pass out, get a call. "You need to come downstairs right now. Did you not hear that siren?" I was like, "I did hear it. What is it?" They're like, "That's a tornado siren. You need to get downstairs like right now or whatever." So I go and get my one teammate who's from Oklahoma. He said, "I'm from Oklahoma. This ain't shit." And they're like, "No, you have to get down here or whatever." So we all go down there, and you're just sitting there hoping that it doesn't choose you, basically. You're just sitting there like, how do we know where it's going to go? Well, you don't. They don't. They have a projection on where it could go, but that could change at any given time. It's wild, man. I've never felt more helpless than like when a tornado thing happens, and you're just sitting there like, I hope it doesn't hit this particular part of our state, because it will. It is devastating.
Oh, I've seen the footage of what this last one did. Yeah, it just mows everything down in its path. It's terrible.
And then it's like some houses are full and then some aren't. It's like, wow, how did that
happen? Yeah. Didn't it make you want to watch Twister again?
Oh, yeah. Hey, good movie. Good movie way back in the day.
The best.
Shout out Bill Pullman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Paxton,
and both of them
scumbag.
dead, unfortunately.
Bill Paxton.
Somebody invited me to go into one of those cars that go into the tornadoes.
Storm Chaser. Yeah, it's a dream of mine, too.
Used to be a show on like TLC.
It was not a dream of mine, but it is a dream of yours. You and Jim Cantor, you would like to share
That's why I
drinks
got
with.
a truck just in case I could put Dorothy in the back.
Well, I'm happy you did that. We got to make sure your truck doesn't turn off at the red light. If there's
I'll hit the button.
Yeah. You know, those cars automatically turning off at the red light or whatever to save
I hate it.
Energy or
emissions or whatever.
Any rental car I ever get always does that. I can't stand it.
Aren't you using more when you turn it back on in 7 seconds?
That's what I would think, but I guess no.
Tone has this nice truck. I mean, this truck is jacked up. It's a nice truck. He pulled up next to me. The thing had some sound, howling a little bit. I'm like, oh, nice truck, dude. And then it turned off. And I was like, Tone, your truck just turned off. And then green light came. And then he went back off. I'm like, every time that happens?
I don't love it either, but I assume the people that made it are smarter than me, so I should just let it do what it does.
Bingo. You're saving the world, I think. I think you're saving the world, but it has to be incredibly inconvenient when because it's an actual sound when it comes back on. I've seen it with cars that aren't like, how many ponies are underneath that hood. I don't know, but wild scenes. Let's go around the internet for some overreaction, shall we?
Yes.
I allow myself to enjoy a few things every single week. I like to enjoy the games. I like to enjoy the time with my wife that I get to spend. I enjoy some good food on a Saturday and Sunday as I'm breaking my fast and eating everything in sight. And then on Mondays, what I enjoy most is hearing from around the internet all the incredibly insane overreactions from NFL fans, less than 1 day removed from their team either having a meltdown the day before or an incredible performance. It is time for hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. Yeah! Hurricane Merc, Slim John Daly, hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. You see that dead fish handshake between Urban and Vrabel? I think it's possible Urban has coached his blood to bypass the rest of his body and flow directly to his crotch, leaving him too weak for anything else. What happened between Vrabes and Urban there? AJ, you have obviously connections to both sides of that terrible handshake. What was that? Is it just no happiness left in Urban Meyer's soul? Did he feel like he got embarrassed from Vrabel, his one-time pupil? What is it?
I have no idea. So first off, the overreaction, beautiful by whoever posted that. That's a great take. I'm glad your brain came up with that. It's very very creative.
That's a Slim John Daly, dude.
Yeah. So I enjoy that. I don't know. I was confused by that as well. So I guess is there beef between Braves and Herbs? I know Braves coached for him, so I don't know. I have no idea what the relationship is like.
Before the game, Braves had his hand out for Urban Meyer as he was walking over to him. Beautiful sunshiny day.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Gorgeous sunshiny day. About 60, 70 yards away from where the camera, cell phone it appeared to be shooting. Urban Meyer has his hand out like this. Vrabel has his hand out like this to shake his hand as he's walking in. Urban Meyer gives a little, don't want that. Goes shoulder into the chest, hey, how's it going? Then they stand next to each other, hands in pocket, chit chat. Felt like they were, old friends. And then just 4 quarters later, an ass beating later, there's an entire.
So maybe they're fine. I guess I didn't see the pregame video, so I'm sure they're fine. Urban, obviously, we know these losses really affect him. So I guess he's not in the mood for anything after that.
Hey, he's not used to losing.
Nope. No, he's not. What do you think that speech was like to his team after that game? What does he even say?
I told all the coaches just a few days ago to explain why they're fucking losers to the rest of us. And here I am, after an ass beating from somebody that once worked for me, letting you know, I too am a fucking loser. Now, with that being said, we cannot lose that bad every single day going forward. And if we do, I'm going to quit. I'm going to get out of here. And the team was like, how many more games we got to lose?
Please.
How many more games we got to lose? Get this guy out of here. What does he say? Nobody has to take him serious at this point. Does he stand up on a chair so he can be elevated above everybody? Because if he's just standing in the middle of that locker room and guys are getting undressed and the misery is already setting in that they probably are about to lose their jobs and everything like that, it's got to be hard for anybody to give a fuck what comes out of that guy's mouth down there. We are not in there, obviously. Tom Pelissero has stood by his reporting. Josina Anderson has come out and said that Urban Meyer said that was a lie about the "why are you a loser" to the rest of the team speech and Q&A session. So all hell seems to be breaking loose down there.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see. I know he met with Shad Khan as well after the game. I just wonder how the rest of the year goes. And man, what is that facility like day to day right now? They need to get a win bad.
6 coaches have already left. 7.
6 since January.
If we just knew a coach in the building, that'd be nice to ask.
I do know. I am actually close friends with their strength coach. Unfortunately for the show, I guess fortunately for the world, Schlegs is too good of a guy to ever say anything bad about any of his employers or what he's doing. So not going to get much from him.
Just do off the record.
Well, if he did, he'd be fucking fired in a second.
That's right.
You're right. He knows.
That's what Urban Meyer said. Urban Meyer said, if there's any leaks in the building, they're getting fired in a second as soon as we find out. Urban, you ain't never going to find out, bud. That's just how this
how would he find out?
That's just how this thing goes.
You think he's calling Pelissero and he's like, give me the names or I will kill you.
You see that strength in the chop house, pal? That'd be my hand around your fucking neck.
Goddamn right.
All right.
Do you think during the games, like when stuff's happening, he's like, oh, they're going to fucking kill me for this? Yeah. Like he's thinking that kind of stuff.
Does he know? Does he know that everybody's bearing? Is he out of touch?
He has to know.
Is he out of touch with everything or no? He knows what's going on.
No, I'm sure he's aware of what. There's no way to avoid it. Like he goes every media session he has. There's always like things. The whole running back situation where their stud running back was kind of dinged up, so he didn't play, and then he threw him in at the very end of a game. They're getting blown out 2 weeks ago, and nobody really knows why. And he says, Urban acts like he didn't know why. Like there's all these things, and they're starting to build up.
Well, it's the difference between the NFL and college, and I don't know how often we have to say it, especially as the Urban Meyer situation continues. It's like in the NFL, all eyes are on you. They're getting 17, 20 million people to watch games in the league that you're in. And I understand college football is huge. It is. College football is the second largest sport in America. College football is awesome. But in the NFL, there's only so many jobs. There's so many eyeballs, and there's so much money. So everything you do, even the people that like you, that are potentially in the same field, they're a little bit jealous of the job that you have. So they're maybe even going to point out some stuff. And all eyes are on Urban Meyer, where in the past, he potentially had the say in who said what and how things went. In the NFL, it ain't like that. There's billions and billions on the line. Not that there isn't in college football, but you don't control your narrative as much as you do in college. And I think Urban Meyer is getting exposed for that right now. And, maybe his next run in the NFL will be better. Pete Carroll was in the NFL one time. Didn't go great. went to college, came back to the NFL. It has gone swimmingly. Maybe Urban Meyer goes back to a team, does his thing in college, comes back, gets kicked out of college, comes back to the NFL and does his thing. Maybe that's all it takes.
I mean, he should never be a head coach of an NFL team ever again. But even like the body language of him on the sidelines, it just looks like he's miserable. I don't even think that he does say anything to the team after the game because, like, what the hell is he going to say?
Well, he was a big three things. Remember after the London game, he's like, I'm going to tell you three things. So I think that's his speaking style. Is that do you know?
I don't know exactly. No, I mean, I've told you before on here. I've seen him speak in public. He's actually very good and entertaining, tells good stories, but I don't know how he speaks to his team.
He's a silver tongue.
But he's trying to impress people.
Silver tongue devil.
He is. He is.
He's what?
Silver tongue devil.
What is that from?
No.
He's good at talking. No, he's good at talking. I mean, I'm sure he enjoys doing that as well, but he enjoys talking.
Sure. We didn't know that.
And that's why he's luring, these young co-eds, because he's a silver tongue devil.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about in the recruiting game.
That too.
Okay.
Let's go to Adam in Arkansas. What's going on, pal? All right.
Adam.
I got cat hair on my tank. Three-legged kitty named Scooty to thank. A little more love and a lot more shared. Come on, Adam. Jesus.
So I want to talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs whooped the hell out of the Raiders. They fucked around and found out to step on our logo, and they found out an ass whooping was coming near them.
You can't do that, Adam. You can't be dancing on the Chiefs logo. Not in the kingdom.
Oh, no, you can't do that. Not with Patrick Mahomes as your owner. You can't do that. You can't do it in front of him.
Patrick Mahomes owns the Raiders. They're in Las Vegas with tax problems. Patrick Mahomes taking care of all of that, huh, Adam?
Yeah, he take care of all of that. He take care of that. You know, the million, it is what it is.
It is. Ultimately, in the end, it is what it is, Adam.
Yeah. You think Mark Davis does offer it up to Mahomes?
Just say, man.
Hey, I'll give
you want to save me from this shit? You saw me in my starter jacket with my backpack after the league. Basically buried me, and they told me to my face in the one from club meeting that fuck me. That basically is what they said. You want to just buy this team, Pat?
He's got as much money as Mark Davis does, so I think
that's fascinating because Mark Davis is the only non-billionaire owner, right?
I believe so. That's the report.
But every single billionaire would give him multiple billions to be in his spot right now, and Mark Davis knows that. Go ahead.
Sorry, but is there someone in line to take the gig after Mark Davis? Does he have any kids or anything like that? Any family?
Barber.
Dana White, I think he's barber, maybe.
Dana.
Well, Dana said he and Mark
actually very good friends.
Pretty good friends.
It would be. I would assume the Davis family wants to keep the Raiders forever. They don't want to let it go.
Well, if they did, Al, one of the creators of football, basically.
Yeah.
Like, actually, you listen to. I think even Belichick speak about Al Davis and people from the Al Davis tree, the amount of football knowledge. Everybody just takes away the just win, baby, and all that stuff. But, like, I guess he was innovative when it came to film study and everything like that. Mark Davis.
Lombardi didn't Lombardi work for him? He talks about him all the time.
Yeah, he is quoted all the time. Al Davis used to. Imagine if I did that when Al Davis was around. He would have. I didn't expect that because Al Davis's character is like, hey, we're just going to win or whatever. And then it turns out that he was this innovative mastermind of the entire game of football. It's like, that's awesome to hear.
Lombardi told that story about when they were either at the combine or even just at practice, him wanting to like be on the field to like feel how fast they were and to feel the speed, I think is what Lombardi said.
Yeah, I need for speed.
Feel this shit.
They did draft all the speed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If I could feel the air while they're running their 40, they're going to be a Raider. I thought about Leckler, for a long time. Leckler is OG GOAT of punting. I love Shane Leckler. He taught me a lot. I used to watch his film, becoming like a friend of his, kind of. I mean, he's in retirement life right now, living his best life, and I think he's also a softball coach. But I used to think about being the punter for a team that drafted only people that run 4.3s and 4.4s. That would be fucking awesome. Give me... Yeah. All right, I'm going to hit this thing as low as possible, as far as possible. And then our entire Olympic track team that we actually have is going to sprint out there. There are so many occasions where that strategy of the fastest player is good, but for whatever reason, I don't know, the team chemistry thing just could never fall in place over
Well, and you ended up getting one of those guys, right? Darius Hayward Bay, and he was like, he's like one of your best,
Yeah, it's funny. I always thought that, like, if I could get any of these guys who are getting drafted to the Raiders on my punt team, that'd be awesome. And then DHB comes to the Colts. He's wide receiver, but they're not using him a lot. This guy ran a fucking 4.2. There has to be something. And he's a hard worker. Hey, DHB, do you mind if I pitch you to be a gunner? Is that okay? I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want you to. He was anything to help, man. I just want to play or whatever. I was like, my dude. Okay, can we get the fast fucking guy, just out there running? You should have seen our net average. Like once he became, I would just punt it right to his side, fair catch every single time, basically. Boom, every single time, right to him. Then he went to the Steelers. He got like 2 contracts. For playing special teams. He was like the special teams guy. He was the guy. First round pick. Everybody, I think, had a lot of ideas. He was so cool. Like the coolest guy ever. It was awesome to see.
Bama has their 2 starting wide receivers as their gunners. So
yeah, I heard some reporter, why are they even covering kicks or whatever? It's like, you know more than Saban, dude. You know more than Saban, Always interesting. I'm always interested by that. That Army-Navy game was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Fly over.
I got to see some of it, yeah.
So I put out a tweet about the fake punt. Obviously, a fake punt was one of the biggest plays of the game, and Diego Fagot actually said in the interview afterwards that he did not know that was coming. And when I watched the fake punt, he seemed surprised. And I was, whoa, what the hell happened there? Then stiff arms guy jumps over a guy, gets a first down, and he was flying around on the defense. I think he was the star of the game. So I put out a tweet that, the snapper just decided out of nowhere to snap it to Fagot. Wow. Because I understand what the low-hanging fruit joke could potentially be, but this guy doesn't deserve that every single time somebody talks about him. He's from Fort Lauderdale. He signed up to serve the Navy. His team loves him. I watched the interview afterwards. Everybody was dapping him up, giving love, and he made a massive play in the punt game and on defense. I don't know. People were trying to come after me for tweeting the way I was tweeting. I was like, I just have the utmost respect for this fucking guy. And he just had the game of his life in the biggest game that Navy has against an 8-3 Army team with a 3-8 or 4-9, whatever Navy team getting a win. That's a huge day. I was happy for him. I was incredibly happy for that guy.
Yeah, that's one of those games that I definitely would go to in person. People talk about, people that have gone to it, they're like, you need to go, man. Like it's a legit, like people get emotional when they go to that game with all the pregame festivities. So that is one of the few that I would travel to, and I'd want to like make it a destination to actually go do it.
I think so too. I think we should do that someday. Maybe 4 years from now, 5 years from now, we go to that game.
Maybe 6 years from now, we'll go.
What's going on in 6 years?
I don't know. You said 4 and then 5, so.
I was talking about.
Why not 3?
You just signed. I don't know if we could go do the show from over there.
Yeah. West Point.
Oh, we should do that. That's what we should do with this money. We have the ability to do shit like that.
Yes.
We should do that next year. We're going to an Army-Navy game next year?
We're in.
Done.
Where's it at next year?
New York, right? It was in Annapolis?
It was at MetLife this year.
Oh.
All right, so we're going. That's awesome. It's a shame I'm going to miss out on Fagot. That dude was flying around.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was absolutely awesome.
Call up Schwarzkopf. Tell him we want to come.
Norman Schwarzkopf?
General? I don't think he's around anymore.
I don't know. That was Desert Storm.
I'm going to call Coach Ken Niamatalolo.
There you go.
Give him a call.
Hell yeah.
That was a big-time win by them. There was no reason for them to win that game.
No.
And by the way, big fan of Army's kicker, Army's punter. I think Navy's kicker and Navy's punter as well. The Army kicker's got a lot of swag, and he bombs the ball. I don't know how he's able to do that with all the – because we call it a Navy game. They got workouts like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Like, they do not care, like the way that whole thing is.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're supposed to go kick balls. I don't know how the hell.
Yeah, football is second priority at those places.
Yeah. Well, thank you, by the way, for all of them. Thank
Yeah,
Thank you.
And congrats to Navy getting a big win. The next one's in Philly, even better. I mean, that's where it's supposed to. We'll go stop and see the, the Bell.
Yeah, have to see the Liberty Bell.
Have to go
Rocky, see the crack.
Yeah, have to go see Rocky, obviously, pay our respects. And then we got to stop by Pat's or Geno's.
Yeah, have to go to Geno's or Pat's.
Or?
Personally, I'd say D'Alessandro's, but that's a little bit out of the way.
Is that over there in Delco?
It's in Delco. I think it's like a Roxbury, maybe, in that area.
Well, it's the same as Pittsburgh, Colleen says. You remember that, Colleen Wolf?
Oh yeah. I was going to try to not remind you.
I saw it already creeping out of your fucking mouth. I saw it over there. You were thinking.
Marshall.
Huh?
You marshaled him.
Yeah, I know that my
Trying to get ahead of it, I know.
Cheddar Bob did shoot himself with a. That is what I did right there, didn't I? Good for me.
Good for
I think
you.
we're out. More overreactions. Let's get to them. We have to do these. Austin Hottle at the Boss 77. This dude was a pulling tackle in high school. Oh my God. Austin used to lay motherfuckers out.
Yeah, all district.
The boss. Zach Taylor should be fired. Okay, he took the ball out of a hot Joe Burrow's hand and tried to play it safe in overtime instead of going for the win. When they still lost 0-23 when trailing in the fourth quarter is despicable. Hashtag this team stinks. Hashtag Zach Taylor stinks. Hashtag PMS overreaction Monday. Okay. Zach having more success this year than he has ever had as a head coach, and he's been a head coach for some time. So much so that we have asked on a lot of occasion, how come Zach Taylor's seat is never above 0 degrees Celsius? You know, how come it never just gets a little bit hot over there? And the answer is always, because he signed a 6-year contract and the Brown family who owns the Bengals is never going to pay him while also paying another coach. So don't even bring up the fact that he's never actually won. And we have no idea if he's going to be a good head coach. Just because he was friends with Sean McVay after McVay had success does not mean this guy's going to do it. Last year, Joey Burrow gets hurt. We have no idea what the team looks like this year. Winning more games. They don't close it out against the Niners, but they had a great comeback. I don't know what the book is going to be like written about Zach Taylor's head coaching stint in Cincinnati, but Joey Burrow's a fucking guy, dude.
He is a guy, but I mean, let's say it does work out for Cincinnati and Zach Taylor, which with Joe Burrow, it definitely has a chance, and Jamar Chase and the other talent they have, especially I like their defense at times. If it does work out, is it like a blueprint for, hey, we need to give coaches a chance sometimes and not just get rid of them after a year?
So the whole entire perception of complacency that happens in NFL programs,
yeah.
If you don't fire somebody, with the way fans can tweet you and you can hear from fans and feel fans more than you ever have in the history of anything, and this is not just the NFL, this is in all aspects. You get a chance to feel how people feel about you in a much different way than you ever have in the past. You used to be able to just, all right, if I'm going to stay at my house and I just go to the office, I'm running into anybody. And maybe there'll be an opinion thing in the newspaper. I can just rip that piece out. I won't even see anything. Now, everything is heard by everybody and every fan base is heard from. So if a team doesn't fire somebody or make any changes, they potentially lose their entire fan base that they actually know about and feel from these days. So they have to make the change. But we'll never, ever know if the change was too early, too quick. Was it warranted? Because what if you let Zach Taylor go for another 4 years and he stinks forever? Then you just set your entire organization back while your fans were saying, get rid of this fucking guy. It's a very interesting time when it comes to decisions like that.
Well, everyone is so quick to write a team off or say they're done or say a coach doesn't have it, he's terrible, he's not good. But if there's any owner in the league that doesn't care about outside criticism, I would imagine it's Mike Brown. He is not his daughter, Katie Blackburn, runs the show mostly now, I think. I don't know exactly how she feels about it, but Mike Brown is not going to be influenced by people tweeting. I don't know if he knows what Twitter is.
Yeah, Mike Brown's still typing T9 text. Yeah.
If that, yeah.
He knows the internet exists, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He's heard of it.
Yeah. Maybe. He had a computer in his office there at the facility.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they don't plug that in, though. That's just for...
Yeah, so you smack on the keyboard.
Hey, you remember when Urban Meyer gave up his laptop for one of his pay-per-views earlier?
Yeah.
Maybe he should have been watching some fucking film,
Seriously. Does he look back now? You think he looks back now? He's like, man, things were a lot better back then before we played a game.
Man, in that computer, I had all my cliche bullshit that I could go to in this, but he got hit over somebody's head.
God damn it.
Never be able to hear that. Let's go to another overreaction, man. This is from Colton at Bison Head.
Oh.
What do you think that means?
I don't know.
Bison Head,
He's got a
HEDD.
dome. He's got like an 8.5 head.
Oh, new era is tough to find.
Yes.
All right. Colts' faked weakness is the first 5 weeks to get in a dark horse slot of the AFC, all to destroy Belly at home. Week 15, Belly at home. Week 15, and run the damn ball all the way to a Lombardi. Hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. Let's go. Start this thing 1-5, 2-6. Here we go. Then we're going to get on a hot streak, and we're going to remember that it's Jonathan Taylor that this team runs through, even though we have a 17-point lead or a 10-point lead against the Bucs late. When we stop running the ball, we are going to run the ball. That is a game that travels. I love where the Colts are sitting at currently, AJ. I love where they're at. Shout out Bison Head. You're right.
You have to. I mean, Jonathan Taylor in that O-line, just unbelievable. And Shout out to Bison Head. He knew that one's getting picked up for sure. If you say anything like that about the Colts, we know it's going to run on the show.
I don't pick these.
I pick them.
I know you pick them, Ty.
I don't give a shit about the Colts. Good
Ty knows
tweet.
what he's doing.
Bison Head's a doofus.
What are you saying, Ty? What are you saying, AJ?
Just trying to keep you in a good mood, keep you positive.
All right, well, I appreciate that. I mean, we can get more of those, I guess. But to say that Ty thinks about anything other than the quality of the show, I mean, thank you for your hard work, Ty.
You bet. Fuck you, AJ.
How about that?
My integrity.
Yeah, what's that all about?
He's an asswipe. I mean, he always comes in on Mondays and does
Hey,
this
come
kind
on.
of
We
stuff.
know Ty's in a lot of pain with his diverticulitis and his intestines gone.
Whoa. Shots fired.
I'm saying I understand, Ty. I get it. I'm sorry.
Let's go to another overreaction so we can get away from this. This is from the Ruth dog.
Oh, Ruth.
This dude's ruthless, dude. Tyler's going to tell the truth so much that people are going to hate him.
That's right.
And then, man, Ruth dog, fucking fall back, dude.
It's one of my favorite parts of the show that I'm sure some people hate is how we dissect their Twitter handle more than we do what they actually say.
Well, that's a big decision. I know how hard it is to find a Twitter handle, so something had to happen, especially for Tyler, who is outright known as Ruth Dog, but he ain't the first one. There's been 16 others. Ruth Dog 17 is the fucking guy.
Yeah.
Pat, my Chiefs are 100% back. This defense is playing lights out, and offense is finally starting to click. 3 straight Super Bowls and 4 straight AFC championships is looking more and more realistic again. Hashtag PMS Overreaction Monday. Ruth Dog ain't never lie. Ruth Dog ain't never say anything but the truth. It was nice to see the Chiefs go ahead and flip the switch of dominance very quickly against the Raiders and ride that thing all the way out. 3 points given up in the first half is the most that they've given up in the first half in the last 4 weeks. That Chiefs defense is humming. Tyrann Mathieu is like a hungry hippo. Balls are just out there, and he's gobbling them up.
Hell yeah.
He's awesome.
I don't think this is not an overreaction at all. I feel like everyone's all right. Yeah, the Chiefs are doing what we pretty much thought they would do. They're rounding into form as the season wraps up.
The ball brings
what
opportunity? I don't know. Somebody alluded to the fact that Tyrann Mathieu, the pick, just kind of bounced up and then got to him, and then the punch out got to him. And his tweet was something wrong.
I saw this too, but I can't think of it.
It was something along the lines of like, yeah, if you run to the ball, good things happen.
Yes.
Basically, he's like, yeah.
It's true. That's what I say. Like people think, oh, this guy, okay, so lucky, balls dropping to him, whatever. Not just Tyrann, I'm saying in general. No, like it's true. Like that's the old coach cliche. If you run to the ball, good things happen. If you run to the ball and you don't stand around piles, when you stand around piles, that's when you get hurt, you get rolled up. So if you're always going full speed, great things will eventually happen.
He's a magnet, and he's so good, and he's a tone setter, which I think is a big deal.
Fun. He's fun to cheer. He's easy to cheer for, isn't he? Is it because of all of his everything that happened with him? Is that why? But because he's such a leader and he's so fast, and you can recognize him too just by the way he moves. You can always pick him out.
He's an electrifying player, always has been. So I think there's a generation of us that watched him at LSU, where whenever he was on the field, it was probably going to be a touchdown for him. Didn't matter where he was playing. He had the punch out in the picks at LSU and the return game and on offense. I mean, he was awesome. And then we learn about him off the field and we see what he goes through. And then he gets drafted to the Cardinals. I think because we know so much about him, that definitely plays into it. But also, he is so fucking electrifying. Yeah. I mean, he is a lightning
That whole defense
rod.
is good. Right? That defense looked great against the Raiders. That's why they're a scary team. If they can continue this it's not like a fluke or not like, okay, they just had good matchups. If they can continue this the rest of the regular season, they are a scary team.
Somebody said, here's the last.
Sweet Jordan gloves, too, by the way.
Sweet. And by the way, anybody that should be on Team Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu should be on Team Jordan for sure. Ari Miroff, Pro Football Focus. Points allowed in the first half by the Chiefs defense over their last 5 games. Packers 0, Raiders 7, so I missed that. Cowboys 3, Broncos 3, Raiders yet again 3. Steve Spagnuolo's unit has completely turned it around and gotten very hot. Hard to win when you never move the back row. You know what I mean? And that is kind of what their defense is doing right now, let alone the fact that on offense, everybody but the people we all bet on for anytime touchdown scored touchdowns yesterday. Josh Gordon, welcome back, dude, by the way. I'm happy that Andy Reid and them chose for him to score that touchdown, by the way. They're like, hey, Josh Gordon, you deserve this touchdown on this play. Let's go ahead and get it. And a bunch of running back. I mean, they are really starting to come full circle, and their special teams are good as well. That's a team. Once again, they are a team, and they found their swagger again, which is awesome.
Yeah. Is Kyle Long, do we have any update on him?
Saw him on the sideline. He was in a jacket. He was in a jacket on the sideline. Beard looked incredible.
Ooh, nice. He made the team.
He did make the team. Wow. Somebody tell Rapport he will be surprised. All right, so you and I both got the Cardinals -2 tonight. Can't wait to hear what the Hammer Dahn Cowboys have in about 15 minutes when this show ends at youtube.com/Hammer Dahn. You guys still on a winning streak? Yeah.
All the favorites and all the overs hit yesterday, so not the best day for me.
Oh, you had a rough day, but old Gumpy came through.
I'm a dog and under guy, so you know how that went.
Well, I think that's why AJ and I had so much success, because we like seeing people perform how they're supposed to perform. And I feel like that's what happened yesterday. Is that what's going to happen going forward? Are the teams that we now know are going to be the teams in the end? Are they going to continue to step on throats like they did yesterday? Or are we going to continue to have up and downs all the way until the end and not know what the fuck's going to happen? Either or could be the case. It's 2021 NFL season tonight. Rams and Cardinals. Can't wait for the overreaction tomorrow. Can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to chit-chat with him about everything going on with his toe, his game. He threw some. Yeesh.
Yeah. Bears defense came out rolling early, though.
They did. What was it? Was it out of the bye week? Were they a little slow?
Robert Quinn, man. Robert Quinn is that dude is Gumby. How he can turn the corner.
He is. He gets very low, but then he hits this right in Aaron's face.
2 times.
Yeah.
Early too.
I don't think. I think. I've always said this. I think if you do somebody else's celebration, it's the ultimate form of respect to the person.
I agree. And Aaron has always told us that he hasn't seen it. This one he had those same.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right in his face. But there has never been a good thing happen to anybody that has mocked the belt in the past. So I think Aaron probably is like, oh, that's okay. I get it. You know, I did tell your city that I fucking own him. So he enjoys the give and take. But the football gods don't, for whatever reason. No. The football gods do not appreciate it. Whatever the case is.
Football gods are all about ball, right? They don't need that extracurricular.
Hey, love and ball.
That's true.
Love and ball. Love and ball.
How do the football gods feel about when Aaron does the belt, though?
Yeah, what about him doing extracurricular?
Well, they can tell how much he loves ball, so they're like,
love and ball.
Yeah, the football gods. Yeah, they know everything. They're the football gods.
Hey, love and ball. That was awesome. That was getting a little bit of run there.
Oh yeah. Big time.
It's awesome.
It's a good program today.
Good program.
Pretty good program. I mean, Overreaction Monday's easy. You know, we'll see how good we are coming Wednesday. You know what I mean? Come Wednesday. A lot of people are going to be like, not worth the money. Which, by the way, once again,
those are my favorite.
We concur.
Mm-hmm. I love doing the show when there's nothing to talk about, actually.
Chuck's back, though.
I really do.
Yeah, Chuck last week.
Oh, Chuck Pagano is back after his bike race.
Yeah.
Is
he going to do another one?
No, I don't know. That's what we'll ask him. I guess we'll be.
Did he win?
That's a tease for Wednesday. Yeah. Did he win?
I read somewhere. I read where he won some big race.
He's alive. We'll ask him about it. I know.
Yeah.
I got a very nice text message from him to all the boys and to me. Very nice. Good man. Very good man.
Best.
I got a lot of messages from a lot of people, AJ. A lot of messages. I try to answer everybody. I try.
I got a lot of secondary messages that wanted to say stuff to you. And yeah, Kyle Brandt actually just sent me a nice text earlier today. He's the man. First off, what's your workout program, Kyle? Because your arms are jacked. He looks good.
So I think you and Kyle Brandt have similar conversations as me and Kyle Brandt. So Kyle Brandt sent me a text as well. Very nice of him. Very, very nice, Kyle. Kyle Brandt's not the only one, but since it was brought up, we appreciate it. Our last conversation, my last message to him is, you're yoked, by the way. And then he says, and this is, I don't know if he knew this was going to get on air or not. He said, if you can't get thin anymore, get big. Fuck it. That's what he said.
Smart.
And he is absolutely yoked.
Yeah.
We are big Kyle Brandt fans. Also big fans of a lot of the people. I mean, I got text messages from multiple billionaires. Billionaires. No,
Gary V?
Did Gary reach out?
Gary did. Oh, he did.
What?
Gary did not reach out. He's not a billionaire.
It's very telling.
Oh, don't tell him that.
He might have, though. He might have I didn't get to everybody. I mean, I had 174 text messages, and I can't thank everybody enough throughout my life. And a lot of people say, oh, when you get money, people are going to reach out. Everybody's going to want to reach out. I've had money for a while now. I think people have known that. This is a different level, obviously. But I didn't feel the way that a lot of people have felt about, they hate it. I actually enjoyed, hearing from people that I hadn't heard from in a long time. Sending a message back man, it's fucking great to hear from you. I hope you're good. And I wanted to make sure at least a majority of the people felt that way. But I did not get to some people, and I feel very bad about it. The second wave text was a good one. There was people that were like, hey, I was trying to hit you in the second wave here, and I caught another like 30, 40 of them. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're back in it again. But I want to I want to make sure everybody knows how much I appreciate them and how stupid this is. And there's some people, I guess, that have mocked the deal or whatever. It's like,
what do you mean?
Well, I guess Boomer was just going to town on
Wasn't happy.
I guess
Oh,
Boomer.
like saying what?
We're too small, man. We're too small. You know what I mean?
Small. What does that mean?
I don't know. He's the number one show in New York. He's number one show in New York City, Sports Talk show in New York City, which I agree is a massive thing, especially with New York coming into the market. And Boomer's an absolute legend. Hey, pal, you're an absolute legend. But, I mean, there's a lot of, like, stats and stuff that are real that are used.
But he does a lot of shows. He's on, like, 6 other shows.
Well, I agree. He kills it. I'm a big Boomer fan. Hey, I appreciate his hustle, his grind, being on TV. But rising tides, Boom. Hey, rising tides, brother. It's good for everybody. But
It's a different time.
Number one show before or after somebody retired?
Who are you talking about?
The legend.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Oh.
Was Francesa still on in New York? I don't know. Was he?
Oh, yeah. If Francesa was on, he was number one in the ratings.
Well, yeah, we all.
Come on, of
we
course.
all obviously.
Simple as that.
Anyways, Boomer and Gio are a good show. I've seen a lot of their clips, but I get that is one of the ones that there's more people, that were anti and against it for whatever reason. But like you're acting like FanDuel, a tech company, and us, by the way, an internet company, literally don't know the exact, like everything. They like everything, but we knew it. They knew it. It was one of those things. So it's just a new day. Rising tides are good for everybody. Let's give that guy. But I hope you make a bunch of money, Boom.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Hope everybody makes a bunch of money, by the way. Always wish that. When I was in the NFL, I wanted everybody to make $100 million, $100 billion, whatever you want to make. And I hope we could potentially be a part of whoever's next negotiation that comes or whatever the case happens in this wild world. And we got to continue to win. The Super Boost hitting just a couple of days after that.
I go ahead, buddy.
Let's go. We still have the ability to take more money from them, which is all I want to do. I sent that Super Boost in real late. Got a text like, hey, what's the Super Boost for this weekend? And we hadn't decided who was going to take the saddle, who was going to run it. I just looked at the thing, and I had to hit Indiana, which was a lie because I was in California.
Yeah.
And they don't have it out there for whatever reason, even though New York's about to make billions of dollars off of this thing. And I assume California will. So I had to go through there, and I was just like, boom, boom, boom. That's what I'm going with. And I sent it to the group. I was like, this feels good. Couple people were up. Yup. Sent that thing over to FanDuel. We're off and running. Super Boost hits. It's not going to stop. Wait till you can hear what I got cooking on Thursday.
Ooh.
Now we take more money from these people, AJ. All right? That's what we do.
I like it.
All right. Good. I appreciate you, AJ, a lot.
Appreciate you, bro. So do you throw those tank tops away or do you wash them?
They get washed.
Good.
Yeah, this is the first batch, I think, washed for the second time. They're starting to fold up a little bit on the bottom. Not the highest quality, but I like them.
They look nice.
Hey, new house has washer dryer in the closet.
Oh. Like of your master?
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's a game changer.
Makes you much
easier.
Game changer.
It is a game
That's
changer.
amazing.
It is a game
We did
changer.
that. We did that. It's in our closet because we built the house. We have one there and then upstairs for the kids. But yeah.
Game changer. Absolutely brilliant. Using the garage. Game changer. Having your car in the garage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a whole different.
Life-saving.
It's been a whole different world up here in high society, dude. Yeah. This has been a whole different world up here. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. I appreciate you all so much. Hammer Don's in 15 minutes. We'll see you tomorrow, Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. The $1.5 million that was announced to be given away in the hashtag PMS FanDuel family, we will announce on Wednesday how that will be divvied out and what will be happening. There's a teaser for Wednesday. You hear that?
All right.
There we go.
Now we're doing a show. And it might go to $2 million, by the way.
Whoa.
People are
on.
still sending in.
Oh, yeah.
It was so cool to dive through like the history of our show and when people caught on and started watching, what clip brought them in, some people what tweet. AQ Shipley was sending me text congratulations. He kind of knew what was going on, didn't know to the magnitude or whatever. And he goes, I think I deserve a little bit. I've seen a lot of tweets from people saying I'm the one that brought him to the show. And I told AQ, I said, I haven't seen one yet. I actually haven't. I haven't seen one yet. I didn't look until I got on the plane. So I didn't look at the internet until I got on the plane. And I think the internet was a little, so I was, the overwhelming amount of love I am so thankful for. And going back through our show with our fans, wherever they're from, people are still sending shit in now. It's been a really cool It's been a really, really cool 3 days, and I can't thank everybody enough.
I mean,
really.
it was trending #1 for about 13
For a
hours.
long
It
time.
was up there for quite some time.
That's so cool, man. Small, not big enough for the money, but I can't imagine what some New York show would get for that whole thing. Let's get out of here. We're back tomorrow for Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Can't thank you all enough. Cheers.